Bam, we're live. I thought only women had dreams. I had a dream I was running snakes over in my car and I met Sevon and then he fingered me. What do you think it means? Oi, oi, oi. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Ken Walters and Jeffrey Birchfield in their new band.
Inside with a fag and a can and me top off. Hammered, still knock your block off. Veg coming to the manor when it pop off. The blocks on lock off, I still make the drop off. And they can try to take a couple of bands. I won't make a mosh pit, but I'll be rocking the mats. Then I'll build like a bottle of stand. If they try to pop caps, I'll be knocking them out.
Hit it, Ken.
Puff up your chest, get smoked like a cigar. Pull strings like a bloke on the guitar. One call, get rap dish dasher. Left in a dune in the sands in Kitter. Bando. Bricks in between walls, break bricks like bits on a D-wall. Bands bits to the boys in the Midlands, box set passing the rock like a speedball. I'm outside with a fag and a can and me top.
My God. That's the greatest. That's the greatest thing on Instagram right now. Holy cow. I have a future, Aaron.
You do?
Yeah, look, check it out.
Hammered, still knock your block off. Veg coming to the manor when it pop off. The blocks on lock off, I still make the drop off. And they can try to take a couple of bands. I won't make a mosh pit, but I'll be rocking the mats. Then I'll build like a bottle of stand. If they try to pop caps, I'll be knocking them out. Puff up your chest, get smoked like a cigar. Pull strings like a bloke on the guitar. One call, get rap dish dasher. Left in a dune in the sands in Kitter.
My God.
How old are they? 80?
What? I don't know, but
Are they like
man,
80?
they're so good and it's filmed so well. Oh my God. What's up, dude? No, not Aaron Ginn. Aaron Ginn.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, like the drink.
Yeah. I had to talk with myself this morning. I was like, Sevi, get it right. Do it perfect. Aaron Ginn's been on the show before. Yeah. I met Aaron through Greg Glassman. Greg was completely blown away at a Medium article that Aaron wrote many years ago as one of the first people to scratch his head and be like, COVID?
Yeah. Lockdowns?
COVID?
Yeah.
Math? COVID?
Yeah, exactly. Fauci?
And yeah, it wasn't mathing. Did you see the new movie?
No. What movie? One about...
There's a new Dr. Fauci movie that came out, I think, yesterday. Everyone's sending me links to it, being like, dude, it's the greatest thing ever. People are just going
nuts.
I'll
check it out. Okay.
It's probably the book, right? It's probably RFK's book, just in movie form, I'm guessing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, not the one about that he made about himself, because I knew about that one. It's like, like the documentary about himself. Yeah, it has like 1,000 reviews, and most of them are 1 star. Yeah, so not that one. Okay, like a different one.
Hey, have you ever read the Kenneth Starr Report?
Yes, I have. Mm-hmm. The one back in the day.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a whole show on that soon. I cannot believe what I'm reading. I read it for the first time yesterday at lunch while I drank down 3 margaritas. I cannot believe the detail. Like, it talks about how he leaned on the door because his back hurt when he used to get head. And it's just crazy. It talks about the number of times he ejaculated. And I mean, I just can't even, she ate his ass.
It's rather intense. Yeah.
I'm at lunch with my mom and I'm looking at my sister. I'm like, I don't know if this is lunch talk.
Yeah, but and the media like downplays it like it's just like it's some random fluke that sort of happened. Yeah, no, I mean it was what's our word for to say, like when the Republicans called Clinton making the White House a brothel, like it was based on like this sort of stuff, right? So it wasn't just a random fluke of we're really late night working in the Situation Room, right? It's like it's a very elaborate sort of level of detail now often happened.
Yeah, I guess there was only one place where he could do it privately, and it was leaning against a hallway door or something. And I was tripping on this. I stole this from a comedian. I was listening to a comedian yesterday, but he was like, hey, what if Hillary would have been elected? Like, she'd be in that room where her husband was just cheating her on the reg. That would be weird.
Yeah. I mean, well,
where do you work? My husband cheated on me.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, that was always a marriage based on power, right? So, but how have you been? You been well?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm
Yeah.
excited for tomorrow. I'm tripping. I was
Mhm.
looking at the Vegas odds. What do you think about the Vegas odds? Got Trump just trouncing um Kamala. Do you have any thoughts on the Vegas odds? Like what they mean or
Yeah,
represent?
I mean, so like what people understand with with polling data and like polling math is like it's always a function of like assumptions. You know, that every one of these polls, every way that this slices the data, it assumes a different like turnout model, which you could be like in COVID world, it'd be like the like how does this thing actually spread, right? In terms of that's how they build all these assumptions and then give you a percentage of take rate, which would be like which side gets what in terms of Kamala or Trump. And like yeah, like that. What's really surprising about this election is that there's basically kind of like three core scenarios, right? It's either the polls are very wrong in the opposite direction, and there's like this hidden Kamala underground voter people or something like that, right? That people don't want to say they're voting for Kamala, and that scenario, she'll win by like 10 electoral votes. There's the polls are right, and then Trump wins by 15 to 20 electoral votes, and then there's the polls are normally wrong in the same direction it's been wrong in the last 12 years, and then Trump wins by 40 to 50 electoral votes. And so the like and that scenario analysis was actually done by the New York Times. So like they just called Trump a Nazi like less than a week ago. So it's not like they're incentivized to like sort of say this. And so they but I would say like the sort of killer um the killer thing to know that this is a very most likely probable Trump election is the early ballots, is the early returns, early vote. And what you're seeing is that Trump is hitting his 2020 numbers. Like, as in Florida, he surpassed 100% of 2020. Pennsylvania, 100% of 2020. If you look at Democrats, they're barely hitting 60 to 80% in the early vote. So every single like why is Pennsylvania red? Right. Well, this is a betting forecast, but like why is Kamala spending her last days in Pennsylvania? Because there's literally no map without that with her. Trump actually has a few options now, but without Pennsylvania, like there's no hope for her election. But if you look at the early returns in under Biden, they had 1.1 million ballots that were returned. Of course, we don't know exactly what they voted for. These were just
In
like
what state?
Dems, right?
In what
In
state?
Pennsylvania,
Okay.
Pennsylvania. Yeah, so that's called the dim wall, right? So because election day is always Republican biased, like it as in 10 to 15 points are outsized Republican turnout on election day. So Democrats in Pennsylvania, they need thousands of votes to be submitted before election day. So under Biden, they had 1.1 million more votes going to election day than they had for Republicans. This time around, they have barely 400,000. So if you're looking at a plus 10, plus 15 percent more Republicans showing up election day, and generally there's another, let's say, 2 or 3 million votes out there for Pennsylvania. That's why she's going to lose Pennsylvania. Is because there's nothing that there is very depressed turnout on her side. And by the most interesting demographic that is like driving the decline is African American. The black vote. The black vote's like not coming out for her. In North Carolina,
Yeah,
Georgia,
the brothers have made
Pennsylvania.
the switch. The brothers have made the switch.
Yeah. So if you look at like female male splits, it's basically about the same. North Carolina, Georgia, it's really minority black vote. Like they're not turning out for her.
Will they
And
lose their protected I think the black guys are losing their protected status class. Do you think that they're gonna be let's say she does win, do you think they'll be punished for that?
you mean like
Like
no,
the
I mean
hierarchy and protection, you know what I mean? It's like there's white dudes at the bottom. Well, they
yeah,
got Asians down there now too. They threw the
yeah,
Asians
yeah.
down.
I'm white adjacent. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But, they have, like, if you have, like, some weird sexual deviation, you're at the top, and then it's, like, a woman with weird sexual deviation, and then, like, and then some gay guys. But blacks used to be in the mix, black men. I don't think they are anymore. I think that they've really fallen in the protected class ladder.
But I think it's more related to the that whenever you remember the whole black jobs controversy of like early on in the campaign and like
Yeah.
Trump made an issue about her race. So like I lived in California for I don't know like 8 to 10 years, right? and like she was known as an Indian senator, and she was my senator. She was my AG. So like what he was saying in whatever uncouth manner, because Trump never wins in style points, but he always is directionally correct. Like is true. And then if you look at her performance in California with African Americans, it was always bad. So like he actually was saying something that was true in a manner that was like an improper, you could say, way of right. But the thing with like why that was like a wrong thing to play with the media is that in this election, Trump is more popular and more widely accepted in the Republican Party and among independents than ever before. Like if you look at his you could say acceptability rating, it's the highest it's ever been, right? Which is like kind of like not what the media makes you want to think it is. But if you look at like another sort of like an insider stat that you can kind of look at is how much sort of disgruntledness do you have towards your candidate? If you look at Harris, her disgruntledness of like what percentage of people in her party have like who voted say they have some issue with their candidate, right? It's over 60% of people who voted for so far. And so in the Republican on the Trump side, it's basically under 50 now. So like we're basically trending towards like 40. As in, so it's another mark of enthusiasm as well. But the thing is, like all that Trump stuff of like him, punching at the wrong person or saying something improper is already baked in. Like when you saw the second debate with Harris, it wasn't like you were super shocked. You're like, oh, like that wasn't the way I would have handled that situation. But it's Trump. You just kind of move on with life, right? But Harris,
Right.
like you totally forgot that she was at the debate. Like the last 30 minutes was like him and the moderator, and like Harris didn't like say anything, right? And like that was a huge L for her. Is that like it's not just being anti something and to win presidency. You really can't win on that. It's a very hard case to make to reveal. Like most people in presidential politics, you vote for somebody, you don't vote against somebody. And if you don't like someone at the top ticket, most people just don't vote. They it's not like the House and the Senate. The House and the Senate is structured differently, where that can be more of an ebbs and ways against somebody. Like especially on the House side. Like on the House side, it mostly trends to the opposite of what's happening on the presidency. And so if you don't like the president, you basically vote for the other party in the House because like no one really knows who their House rep is. So
Right.
it's a more about party identification. But for the presidency, it doesn't really work that way. And when she left that after that second debate, her first, you walked away with like I don't even know like who this person is. And then they
Right.
read the whole like fake campaign of joy, which was like always total nonsense. Like she's always been the most. She was like in the Senate. She was the most unliked people in the Senate. And again, as AG, one of the most unliked people as Attorney General, and the Vice President, the most unliked, one of the most unliked, the most unpopular, more unpopular than Mike Pence under Trump. And she was trying to make this like weird thing that was like totally fake. She should have ran as her like Law and Order, I'm doing anything to win sort of Newsom stuff. Like she should have ran as like a female version of Newsom, which is I'm a chameleon, I do whatever I want to win, and that's the way it is, right?
Yep.
And should have owned it. Instead, she like was this, oh, I'm tough on the border. Like what the hell nonsense was that, right? It's like I'm tougher on China than Trump is. You're like it was this delusional reality that they were trying to sell, right? And then their own party wasn't even taking it. It was like a dealer that was like not even willing to shoot up their own supply, and they wanted Americans to believe it, and it was literally insane. And so that's why she's going to lose. It's like fundamentally the Americans in this age and this epoch that we're in, what they care about is authenticity. They care that you're real because they think so much stuff's untrue. Like you just mentioned, some like that the hierarchy of victim classes, right? Where the people on the
Yep.
highest side are the most, you
Yep.
could say,
Yep.
mentally, disconnected from physics and physical reality, and so like they're drawn to politicians. They're just real, right? And that's why AOC, who I don't like, is so popular. Is she's doing makeup on TikTok like she's a dumb bartender, like and people, that's just who she is. Like you're never gonna get a great intellectual monologue. She'll try, right, and kind of laugh
She
at her,
tries.
right?
Yeah, she
Yeah,
tries.
but she's just like, oh my god, politics, right?
Let
Like
me play
it's
a clip. Let me play a clip, Aaron, here that shows you what a chameleon. And I can't believe CNN actually ran this. This shows what a great chameleon Kamala is. This is her 2 takes on Gaza, depending on what state she's in. Here we go.
Mixed messages. Trial investigation this hour finds Kamala Harris is targeting crucial battleground voters with vastly different messages on Gaza and Israel. This ad is running in Michigan, which has the largest Arab population in America.
What has happened in Gaza over the past 9 months is devastating. We cannot allow ourselves to become numb to the suffering, and I will not be silent.
All right, well, it's a very different story for an ad in Pennsylvania targeting Jewish voters.
Let me be clear. I will always stand up for Israel's right to defend itself, and I will always ensure Israel has the ability to defend itself, because the people of Israel must never again face the horror that a terrorist organization called Hamas caused on October 7th.
Yeah.
The message.
It's a so except she doesn't pick the most logical running mate, which was Governor Shapiro, because of the Jew Muslim problem in their party.
Right? So she should pick Shapiro, is what you're saying?
Yeah, like everyone on the Republican side was predicting Shapiro because she needed Pennsylvania. She needed Pennsylvania to win. Fetterman, right, who, like, frankly, I'm happy I was surprised. Fetterman's ended up being a very solid senator.
Although I watched 30 minutes of his Rogan interview. He is a full-blown retard. He's an imbecile. He's broken.
And they said, and that tells you something about like Harris, where she didn't want to go on Rogan. She goes on SNL, which is playing to her base, right? Because her base is showing, and they send Fetterman. You're like, how do you send Fetterman, but then you don't want to show up, right?
That's what that was. That was
they needed somebody to show up.
Wow, the interview only went 2 hours. I never feel sorry for Joe. He's a bad motherfucker, but I felt sorry for him. I was like,
I mean, Joe ran the interview, right?
Yeah, this is really sad. I mean, he had to keep asking questions over and over because Fetterman couldn't understand the questions.
But so what's interesting about like this Jewish Muslim problem, like one is like, I'm one of the few Americans that like I actually have been to Gaza. I've like been to Israel, been to Lebanon, I've been to like all around the region, and you can do that when you have a military guided tour. So like,
when did you go? When did you go?
It would have been 2018 or 2019.
Okay.
So Gaza was already like fully, run by the PA and all sort of alternative, you can say alternative government entities like Hamas, and but the West Bank was still like overwhelmingly dominantly controlled by the PA. But if you go like, there was actually a poll done towards Arab Americans, and it was 50-50. So like she basically kind of like sank her political chances over that. It was a nationwide poll of Arab Americans, and it was 50-50, 50 strong, 50 her. So she literally made the completely wrong decision and picked Waltz, who is not only one of the worst retail politicians as governor, but has a horrible track record on crime and all the main things like immigration. What he said about like Somalis and playing soccer, right? It was just like a huge meme in the underground, like, red-pilled world. Like, he's literally the opposite of what you need on any of these issues. And they're trying to pretend like he's some gun hunting, and he doesn't even know how to load a shotgun. Like,
right.
And then you had Shapiro here, which was like, he's a Zionist. He's a relatively moderate Democrat. I mean, I wouldn't, again, if I looked at it, I wouldn't vote for him. But he's like, within the spectrum, like, he's more normal. He's a more normal liberal, like Fetterman. Like, he's not someone great like Sinema, but he's pretty good for a Democrat, but they don't pick him because of the Jewish problem. Because like the height of when she needed to pick a running mate was during obviously the beginning of the renewed war in Israel, but again, like, even though this Palestinian issue, like, where does it even go? Like I don't even understand what the argument is for the pro-Palestinian side. You just, what do you want now? You want the most stable, democratic, free, capitalistic country in the whole region, right? Of all 30 countries. You want to just sit there and like let this like disaster constantly unroll and attack other Arabs in the other free country. Like there's no even argument they're making. Just like, oh, Israel's mean and they're bad, right? And after the October attack of last year, I didn't really understand how like prevalent like anti-Semitism truly is. But after that, like there was really no legitimate argument other than that you just don't like Jews. Like you just think they're just mean.
That's funny you say that. I didn't realize that either. My wife's Jewish, and she always tells me that it exists, and I tell her no, it does not exist. I said there's like Jews are just want to be different. They're just white people. There's no such thing as anti-Semitism. I had no idea that there was actually anti-Semitism. And you're right.
Yeah.
People just want to hate those. Arabs are killed all the time by Arabs, and no one ever stands up. The second the Jews kill some, it's fucking on like Donkey Kong.
Yeah, and even though again in Israel, like Arabs are full citizens, like they occupy 10 to 50% of the population, and they have full rights. They have a very like in Israel, they have a very liberal Supreme Court that is like very basically like we have the liberal Supreme Court here. And if you go like this is the total like bullshit of this whole freaking argument. Is if you go to Jordan, if you go to Saudi Arabia, if you go to UAE, if you talk to anyone in power there, they love Israel. They're like Israel is great. We're so happy they're here. We're like they're so normal, and they want peace, right? And then all the people there, they go get up in arms about something again of like, but what's the argument? Like, there's literally no entity on the Hamas side. There is no government. There's nothing functional there. It's just literally it's like Somalia, like on the freaking like border of Israel. And so like, what do you want? Like, and there is no clear argument anymore. It's just I just don't like Jews. Like that's literally where we're at now.
And if you're rich, you want stability. Like if you have stuff,
and that's what they want.
As a 19-year-old living in or 22-year-old living in a motorhome, I didn't give a fuck about stability. But now that I have some money and 3 kids, I want stability. And I'm assuming that the wealthy nations around Israel, regardless of their religious or ethnic bend, they want stability, and Israel offers stability.
Yes, yeah, and they're Israel's reasonable. They're not irrational, and they have the biggest enemy and threat to the stability in the region is not Israel, it's Iran, and everybody around Israel, all those countries know that, and they all believe that, and even Turkey, which is very publicly hostile to Israel and continues to even send weapons to people. Like if you go to like true diplomats in the region. The people in Turkey that actually like matter and are behind the scenes, like Israel's actually really great and they're very reasonable to deal with, and because you think that that's how they got to where they are, is that they are the Western power in that region, and Western powers want stability, peace. They want human rights. They don't like war. Like these are all basic concepts within the West, and that's what they believe. And so but the fact that like Harris decided to not do that because it's the height of the beginning of the Renew War was what was the thing that killed her campaign. Like she was on this high, this stupid campaign of joy nonsense, and then she picked the wrong person, and then of course like did the classic narcissistic projection waltz of like JD Vance is weird, who I actually know I've known for a while, that he's weird, right? And he just opens this complete door to like, oh wait. You're the weird mofo, right? Like your wife and your hand.
Vance is out of the 4 people, he's the only normal one.
Yes, right. And so they did the classic like narcissistic trick on just like, oh, let them confuse you, right? And then it finds out like JD again, who is literally mastercrafted interviews. It's one of the most amazing things to watch. It is him being able just to dance in front of like all of these like liberal mainstream people and just destroy them, but destroy them in a very different way than Trump does. Trump does is like it's funny, like he's like he warms you through his humor, and then like if you really bite him though, he's like it's like he's defending his family. He's like a mobster, right? I'm gonna punch you, right? JD does it in this like he's just dancing in front of you, like intellectually, just jumps around. It's like, oh, you didn't catch me, try again, right? And it's very fun to watch. But that like and so their whole campaign was just a disaster. They should have pulled out Biden. Biden is clearly upset at that he was blindsided by Nancy and Obama in 25th and whatever. And so like they should just pull out
25th. 20. Are you talking about the 25th Amendment? You think they threatened him with that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think that's pretty widely accepted now that like he was threatened. And then him and Jill, Jill was definitely pushing him to continue to run. And frankly, like based on if he would have held it together in the debate more than having the meltdown he did, he would still be the stronger candidate than Harris. And that tells you also the weakness of Harris, that even if an affirmed Biden would still be a stronger candidate than her. And that's because Biden, again, historically has been liked, one of the most popular senators of any state, right, for years and years. Never was able to win running for primary, but was likable and like people related to. And again, doesn't mean he's not like a massive liar and like has been bad for the country, which is I agree with those things. But you got to go to like the strengths, right? Like Bernie Sanders is Bernie Sanders. Like you're never going to get him to be like warm and inviting in a Cracker Barrel, right? He's the guy that's like sitting at some organic coffee shop and is just yelling at you, reading a lesbian book, right? Like that's who he is. Like he's mad and he drives a Volvo, right? And it's but Americans like that. Like they want that connection. Even it's a postmodern, non-scientific, like non truth oriented framework. And I don't like those things, but it's just the nature of where Americans are. Is that they want someone they can relate to. They want someone that knows them and sees them, and that authentic connection, because they feel they're being lied to constantly by everybody. And so that authentic connection, which is a form of a post-truth framework, is why people are drawn to Trump. Is that him being mad on the second debate was like, oh, he's just mad. Okay, well, I get it. I'm mad too. Like that's why people left. It was like, oh, I'm mad. We're both mad. Okay, I get it. And that was it. Like, and then it was not the death nails campaign. I don't know why everyone kept saying that. He actually did, in terms of Great Lakes. If you look at sort of post-debate polling there, many of the key demos that he needed, which generally are white males and low propensity voting white males, were actually liked his performance because they're mad, and the fact that he was mad, they liked a lot. And for the people like you said, you and me, who are generally more like on the higher education side in our country, we are not the target demo. We don't matter in this election. So the fact that like we are like, oh, I wouldn't have said that way, like that's not the people who matter in this election. It's people who are like, yeah, I'm pissed off, I'm angry, this shouldn't happen. And that's what he fell to in the second debate. So he still kind of got ahead. I just didn't like that's the way it went down. But he fell for the bait too much. It was like that was the critique of the second debate.
How bad do you think the cheating? How bad do you think the cheating is, Aaron? In my mind, it's really bad.
So if you Trafalgar,
Dems are really. I think I'm seeing some bad shit, and I have acquaintances who are getting multiple ballots who aren't citizens. I saw someone else got 16 ballots on Instagram. They were holding them.
Yeah.
How bad is the cheating?
So it's so bad now that pollsters in certain states add in percentages to the Democrat side. So like Trafalgar and Insider Advantage, who have generally been the most like accurate, they basically for Philadelphia, they add in points of like non-existent voters. So like that's where we are in our country, is that the pollsters know that there's outsized behavior that's happening in their numbers based on like as an example, North Carolina, one reason why Trump is going there, Kamala Harris is not, even though the polls show it's close, is that if you look at early voting, it shows that it's not going to be close. So there's something going on there with that. And they looked at like essentially the demographic makeup of North Carolina is very similar to Georgia. And so they're modeling that into Georgia, which why I think Georgia is also solidly Trump. But if you look at Atlanta stuff, they essentially just outsized increase like black turnout, the number of votes that are found. And so many of the more, you could say, reasonable or like more accurate pollsters that have been more favorable to Trump haven't been including that. So the fact that, like Trafalgar, for example, which is generally considered a Republican pollster, is including that in their numbers, right, tells you, and he's still ahead, right? It shows you that in our country that the lie around election integrity is intact on democracy, which is still one of the most like bizarre, toxic euphemisms I've ever heard. Like that's the point, is to have good elections is literally the premise of democracy. Right? It's like oh, you can't can't criticize it because then it's like a North Korean phrase. Well, North Korea has elections. How dare you criticize the democracy of North Korea? Like, and I think that's literally like what they came and started attacking Republicans for. But there are legitimate concerns. There are never Trump Republicans that live in Maricopa that literally messaged me and were like, I have always voted in person, and if I go to my list of because in Maricopa you can see your voting record online, it says mail-in. And he goes like, I've never submitted a mail-in ballot in my life. Like that should be concerning as a country. And the Democrats just washed it away because Orange Man bad. And that psychosis is killing their party. And Fetterman, who we just mentioned, who actually I'm happy I was wrong about. Like he is a he's a better senator than Oz would have been. His position on things have reflected a non-TDS framework. His position on Israel, he is very, very pro. He essentially is Zionist.
What's
He's like
TDS?
Israel's. Trump Derangement Syndrome.
Okay.
Like on the border, on tariffs, on trade, on Israel, he is very solidly like MAGA. Like he is not in this like ephemeral zone of like Democrats where they talk out both sides of the mouth or like are placating to billionaires. But that because that's a reflection of like actually what's happening in the country is that Americans are you could say returning to actually a more traditional line of politics, a more Teddy Roosevelt line of politics, and are like getting away from neoliberalism. The neoliberalism was a manifestation of a kind of intellectual phenomenon post, academia that was representative into Clinton, into the Bushes, into Obama. That was a short-term high that is now fading back to many of Trump's policies are traditionally American policies. Like they're actually not abnormal. They're very much in line. America has a long history of tariffs and not believing in the neoliberal view of trade. And even that, like Trump's position on tariffs, which is actually now very similar to Harris, which she could have always done, but she never did in her 4 years in office, is essentially just like equilibrium. Like his example about cars, which is true, that our cars are tariffed, but other cars coming into the country are not tariffed.
Right.
Like those are things that we should change.
There's no American cars in Germany. That whole thing he pointed out.
Yes, and that's true. Like, yeah.
I want to show you another clip here, Aaron. I see so much fact checking. How come this is never fact checked on social media? This is, I bet you if you ask, remember when they had those questionnaires and they would ask Democrats how many people die from COVID who get it, and it would be like 50%. They would have some, in the polling, they would say some weird shit because of the kind of news they consumed. How come there's never any fact checking on this line here?
Kamala did what Kamala always does. She just put her head down and she went to work.
Anyway, did you guys see Barack Obama trying to manipulate people by lying about a hoax that's already been debunked? Listen to this. Watch what he said.
Who said that there were very fine people on both sides of a white supremacist rally?
Now pay attention. Here's the proof that he's just lying through his teeth in order to manipulate people to get them to vote against Trump and for Kamala Harris. Watch this.
And you had some very bad people in that group, but you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group, excuse me, I saw the same pictures as you did. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down of, to them, a very, very important statue and the renaming of a park from Robert E. Lee to another name. And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay?
So we've heard this corrected now by Trump 100 times. How the fuck do they keep getting away with saying this lie? It's the same thing with January 6th when he said march peacefully, when he asked for the National Guard on the 4th and the 5th to surround the Capitol, and Nancy Pelosi. Why Big Tech refuses to fact check this clip? I've never seen that clip fact checked when they say that about Trump. What is going on? Is Big Tech just lost?
No, I actually think that thanks to Elon, that this is probably one reason why that Trump's so far ahead is because Elon has like saved in some respects, like kind of saved America with X, and has opened the door to the fact of like one of the most richest people in the world, definitely the most important entrepreneurs in the world, is backing Trump, and like X has basically allowed for that. And if you look at like Zuck, right? So Zuck is, I don't know if you've seen a recent interview with him. He's basically
Give me one
dressed
second.
like a gangster.
Give me one thing. It was fact checked
Yeah.
and it came out for Trump. It's fact checked on Snopes, sure. But what I'm saying is if I were to say anything wrong about Kamala, it would actually be fact checked on my post. They'd put a little question mark and say this is misleading. That's what I'm saying. Sorry, go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah. And so Zuck right now also, if you go watch some interviews with him, like he's wakeboarding with beer in his hand. He's doing martial arts. He's also doing CrossFit. The dude is based. Come on, like you don't post yourself on July 4th wakeboarding, drinking a beer, and thinking like, oh yeah, maybe we go to Davos and like think about how we do climate change posts, right? Like no, the dude is like on our side now, and his public statement around how he was forced to repress COVID stuff.
I saw something. God, I wish I could remember what I saw. I thought he was based, and then I started thinking, no, he's just a fucking actor. What did I see? I saw something that was just crazy that he did. You think he's voting for Trump?
I think he's. Yeah, I think he's voting for Trump. I think he's on our side now. So anyway, so like on the on this hoax, on this like claim. So yes, like in the debate, this was not fact checked. This is a very well known trope of the Democrats, because like as you said, like Trump, when he talks, as he would says that you're on a journey, right? He's not meandering. He's like, you're on a journey. Like he's doing specific things, and most Americans would be surprised. Like, do you know what Arlington Cemetery is? For all these people who hate Robert E. Lee, blah blah blah. Like my family wasn't here. Like we're from China, so like coming in as as an immigrant family, legal, right? Immigrant family. Arlington Cemetery is Robert E. Lee's house. Like, do you understand that? Like, it's literally the cemetery is his home.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So like the fact that like in the fact Lincoln wanted Robert E. Lee, everyone viewed Grant as a drunk, right? And that Robert E. Lee was the general to get. And he went to the Confederacy. In fact, he like the Union government was appealing to him until the last minute. And basically, he decided to go to Virginia because that was his home and like that's where his people were. But he was very drawn to fight for Lincoln. But either way, like here or there,
Lincoln wanted him to fight for the North.
Yeah. Like this was like a great loss of the early Union was that that everyone wanted Robert E. Lee, but they couldn't get him because he was in the last minute decided to go back to Virginia and to fight for the Confederacy. But they wanted him, and this is why like whenever he surrenders, he's treated so honorably, is because like everybody on both sides knew that he was like kind of one of the most respected generals like in America. So, but he fought on the bad side, so like he picked the wrong team. So, but on this hoax thing,
beloved home seized by the U.S. government during the Civil War. Wow. I never knew that.
Yeah,
thank you.
It's Arlington Cemetery is his home. So, but again, it goes back to like basic ideas around truth and reconciliation and South Africa and like how you actually deal with shit like this. And like most liberals are infantile in the way they think because they just want to win a debate argument rather than like understanding like, hey, this crap's like super complicated and like people are complicated. Like Jefferson definitely owned slaves. Most of them were inherited by his parents. But as the first bill he ever produced as a legislator was to allow the freeing of slaves in Virginia. So like people are complicated,
Right.
So he also included the end of slave trade in the Constitution. So like, people are complicated. So but yeah, on this hoax thing, like there are a ton of things that the left sort of gets away with Trump because there is an innate bias in the mainstream media to just say he's crazy, delusional, old man, whatever. Which again makes people mad. Who are the people they need? Right? If they just treat Trump fairly, they almost like neutralize him, right? Because the way that he's so effective is like he's like a counterpuncher. He's like a counter response. Like everything you say about him, criticize him, he could easily, not only does he own typically, he then throws it back at you. And
Right.
he's so effective at that. It's like a bounce back, like a trampoline. And when they lie about him, people find out, it just reduces the trust. Like, why did Bezos interfere with Wahoo doing an endorsement? Right? It's because he knows that this is not working, people. Like we have to give up. You lost the train. Trump is going to be president again. Nobody trusts you. Nobody likes you. You're like this in the high school. They're like, when we're all at lunch, they're like the annoying, student council people in the corner who are yelling at you about like you're using wrong utensils in the lunchroom, right? And you're like, and everyone's just basically like, F off, like, leave me alone. Like, I don't like you. I don't trust you. You try to control me. Leave me alone. Like, just leave me alone. And the media just doesn't get it. Like, they're narcissists. They're so self-involved. They're sophistic. They think everybody cares about the issue and nobody does. And Trump is just here being like, it's like Trump is pitching himself as like, I'm like a normal guy. Like, I say some things are kind of off color. I love my family. Yeah, I've been divorced, right? I like money, and I want America to be rich, powerful, and safe, and kind of funny, right? And the fact that like the media keeps like punching, and trying to drag him down, like it only enables the curve, right? The great was the Aurora incident, right? The Aurora claim, right?
Yep.
About the
You mean with
Venezuelan
the Venezuelan gang.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, and that Martha Ratz, like when JD was obviously doing round interviews, Trump's on the campaign, he's doing these media interviews. When Martha Ratz was like, okay, well, it's not happening, and JD's like, what do you mean? Like, they said it is happening. They're like, yeah, but it's not happening that much, right? And JD was like, listen to what you just said, right? And that's the arc they always end themselves at, is like, okay, it's not real, he's a liar. Okay, it's happening, but it's not that serious. Okay, it's happening somewhat, but he's exaggerating. Okay, Trump's a Nazi. Right? It's because they go through this arc, right? Because they realize they're in this like impossible position now. So they have to go back to just another slander. They have to go back to another accusation, right? Rather than just admitting that like the fact of that they should have just said, okay, if that's happening, that's bad. And I don't know how much it's happening, but we should definitely look into that. And if it's happening, it's bad. And that would have been the end of it, right? But instead they build this whole case about he's like the cats and dogs thing, right? Like, this most memorable thing about that debate. And like, who knows if it, like, when he said that, how much it was happening, the prevalence of it. But then it became like a thing where you're like, okay, well, so you're saying this is not happening at all? So are you like pro eating cats and dogs? Like, the Democrat position became kind of weird, when the right response should have been like, if that's happening, that's bad, and we should totally be opposed to that. And they should have ended it, right? Instead, they're like, it's not happening, right? And then you're like, okay, that's an impossible position to defend.
Right.
It's like, you're telling me nobody in Ohio has like killed a cat and dog and ate it? I mean, we have a law against it, like almost every single state. So I think it has happened. And then it became a thing where people were looking for like, is this actually happening? And they just put themselves into a hole. So the Washington Post like not endorsing, I think was actually a good move on their part, because one is like, Bezos knows where this is going, but two, it's like, what benefit is this getting us anymore? Like, it's just making it
crazy there, Aaron. The staff there, they must be losing their shit, because their reporting is so biased. Them and the New York Times, it is so bad. It's just outward line, adjectives. It's so slanted. They must be losing their shit. Didn't Bezos just sign a $600 million contract last year with the CIA or something? And in his servers, the government leans on so heavily, right?
Yeah, they use Amazon stuff. Yeah.
He's just scared he's going to lose the contract. Here's what I think, big picture. I'm not going to die on this hill, but basically, you have Elon talking about starting his own email, starting his own browser, starting his own search engine, starting his own phone. And you have people like Bezos and Cook being like, oh shit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because of all the government contracts that they have.
Oh,
let me see. Amazon, CIA, 600 million. I think, and that's just and that's just
small beans things.
Yeah, that's just small beans to them, right? Oh, okay. So here's this article. First one that pops up is in 2013. CIA has $600 million cloud with Amazon, 10 years. Oh yeah, so they probably just re-upped it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm assuming Bezos
So
going to lose his control over the internet because he basically controls the internet, the traffic of the internet.
yeah, I mean, yeah, most of the internet like was run through AWS servers. So I think the reason why Bezos said that is because he's thinking of an owner mentality. I still think he's like a moderate Democrat, but I don't think he has TDS. I don't think he'd be like if Bloomberg was like not petty, right, and like just didn't like Trump. Like
What about
Bloomberg was a
Cuban?
pretty
What's
rational
Cuban going
mayor.
through? Why is Mark Cuban tripping? What's he afraid of? Why is he afraid of Trump?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, every interaction I had with Cuban was always very positive, so I've actually not punched at him on X. I extremely disagree with him on COVID, but we debated, and like I didn't like his argument. I thought it was like not rational, reasonable. I actually avoided completely ever criticizing Cuban because every interaction I had was been positive. I have no idea why the Harris campaign has told him to stop speaking on their behalf.
Oh, they have?
Because it just yeah, like it just was weird, like to say like because Mark, who is objectively one of the most successful business people in America, was just making really bizarre arguments and was also clearly not making like it's almost like arguments in bad faith because you go to All In podcast, right, with Sachs and Chamath and you have at least one ally, which is Jay Cal, who would never admit he's an ally, but he's a clear Democratic ally, and just his responses to really cogent like logical arguments around like the border stuff, right? And his only defense of like Harris was that, well, she was just doing things that her boss told her to do. And you're like like what, right? And or like the shoot like, oh, Harris is gonna be really tough on China. Harris is gonna be really good on taxation for businesses, and you're like, what are you talking about? Like it's like this delusional reality built. And then like I think like the kicker on Cuban that showed that like I don't even think he really is almost like a personal vendetta against Trump rather than like really defending Harris was around the unrealized cap gain stuff. Like that is in her plan. It is listed as an idea, and his only response is like, "Well, I'll just make sure it doesn't happen." And you're like, that's not how this works, bro. Like you are one person in a corpus of like mostly government elite people that are running her campaign. And the one thing that would be utterly disastrous for our economy, which is capping unrealized gains, you're just like, oh, like, I don't think she's that serious about it, right? It's like what? Like how can you that be defense? The really over the edge stuff
How
was
can
then
you
again
even
from his
say
private
that,
plane.
though? The unrealized capital gains thing is like, let's collect all the Chinese and move them out of the country. I mean, it is absolutely it's bizarre talk. Or it's like the guy, the director of technology for Obama proposed putting something in the U.S. water supply to sterilize the citizens. You've seen that, right? And it's like,
No, I
what?
haven't seen that now.
Oh, it's like, what the fuck? Like, hey, dude, like if that
Yeah.
thought pops in your head, you push it down. You hit the reset button on it.
Yeah. Or like from his private plane when he criticized like women who vote for Trump, right? It's like,
Yeah.
dude, come on, man. It's like you're like he's sitting in the corner of his private plane and he's like, oh, Trump voter women are stupid, right? And you're like, what is going on, right? As I have no idea why he decided to go on this train.
He's surrounded by brilliant women. Let me ask you if this is a fair characterization. I don't think that there's anyone who votes for Trump who goes to Kamala. But I do think there are people who vote for Kamala who go to Trump. So I feel like Trump has two buckets to choose from. He has people who are sitting on the couch that he has to get to the voting poll, and he has Kamala voters he can pull from. I feel like Kamala only has one bucket. She's got to get people off the couch. I don't think she's going to convince anyone on the Trump side to vote for her because I don't think you go red.
Yeah.
You can't go from red pill to back asleep that quickly.
No. If you look at, let's say, polls around independence, he's strongly pulling on the independent side. Everyone I know who's going third party are all Democrats. I don't know any Republican doing third party. Like Trump is literally in the most widely accepted, widely supported position within the Republican Party since the past two times he's run. So he is, and this is why when Biden was forced to not continue running, they were very short on options because Obama was not going to put Michelle up. This is like it would be so stupid. She hasn't run for anything yet. She's the strongest speaker for their side. She's very widely popular, and Trump is in a very strong position. And jumping in midway through just like would not be the case. So then it was kind of going on a list of governors, right? Newsom was the most logical one, but again, he just continues to be very slimy. And he also knew, like, why I don't think Newsom put his hand in was because Trump is very strong. He has a very strong base, very active, and they've been, he's been running for re-election for, you can say for 4 years. And so Harris was kind of the only thing there, and she, to not use something that's like very, the same way, very not polite to say, but she kind of was not very smart enough to pick up on, maybe she would just do it, right? She's kind of the sacrificial lamb, like just kind of like put her out there, right? And she kind of fell for it, right? And it's like, oh, I can actually do it, and everyone's kind of like, yeah, sure, yeah, you can, yeah, sure, you can do it, right? And that's why the Obamas were so hesitant on endorsing her for for how many weeks? So 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, I remember
because
that.
they're kind of like seeing how it goes, right? See, is she actually going to fall for this? And she did. She fell for it. And they the media machine was like putting us all on sugar high, being campaign of joy, right? Whoa, all right, campaign of joy. But the thing is, like, she doesn't have any of the charisma of Obama, and definitely know the charisma of Trump. Trump was one of the most amazing retail politician since Reagan. Like, he is incredible. Staying with Al Smith dinner, he is literally incredible, right? And so it was just this huge balloon that built up that just deflated really fast because and David Sachs made up this line, so I'll credit to him. It was this doom loop. Like, as the high continued to be pushed up, this campaign of joy, she is female Jesus, she is female Obama. Like, she is the greatest thing since ever. And then they had to keep the sale going, right? It's a Ponzi scheme. Keep the sale going. It's the only way you continue to believe the nonsense, right? And to make it more extreme. But then as that started to deflate, they're like, okay, well, we have to do something. Like, let's just put her in an interview. And then it was just this doom loop, right? As she talked, it continued to go down, and continued to go down, and continued to go down, right? And in reality, they should have built the campaign from day one on her talking to American people and building it on the right assumptions of who she is as a person. And instead, they kind of got lost in their own nonsense, things that their farts don't smell. And then people are like, wait a minute, something here is kind of weird. And so she has to answer questions, and then she has to start answering questions. Then you started seeing the Kamala word salad, started seeing the I'm from a middle class family sort of nonsense, or unburdened by what has been, right? And then it just continued to devolve.
I think the distinction in their talking is this. I think the distinction is Trump is just telling you who he is and what he's going to do, and she's trying to get votes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's you've seen that leadership style, I'm sure, Aaron, where there's people who are trying to make everyone happy. And she's trying. That's why she can't talk for Joe Rogan for 3 hours, because she'll get caught in a lie. She doesn't even know what she stands for.
Yes.
I don't think he knows what he stands for.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. He's not worried about offending people, because he's just going to say what it is. No one's going to get special treatment. And she's like trying to just get votes. What can I say to get him? What can I say to get him? And so she does not want to be painted into a corner at all, whereas he doesn't give a fuck. Paint me into a corner.
Yeah, the authenticity thing, that goes really far for Americans today. And why, again, Fetterman, why did he win? Because he's just a great example, and it's an example that I proudly say as a Republican that I generally like Fetterman. And it's because he ran as this, even though he's from an elite family and all that stuff's true. He dressed as the sweater guy, right? And he kind of owned that. And people saw for who he is, oh, I'm the sweater guy from this small town in Pennsylvania, and I'm this average Joe blue collar. His background is actually quite elite and very wealthy. So, but either way, he owned that. Yeah, he's from an elite family, and he was kind of recruited to go and run for mayor in this small town and stuff like that. So, it was much more constructed than he leads on. So I don't know the actual wealth of his class, but it was a constructed run for this. You'll eventually go and be higher office sort of position. But either way, he ended up. I mean, he votes the way I want him to vote. So I don't care. But he owns that sort of persona, and however natural it is, it kind of doesn't matter because it reflects his sort of authentic nature now. But that goes really far. And for Trump, when he was on Rogan, and Rogan's clearly an ally of kind of our view of the world, it's he's just so relatable and just talks like a normal human being and deals with the issues that we're dealing with. In some ways, Trump is more willing to say things cannot be summarized into one statement, which is a funny way of thinking because he's so famous certain one-line statements. But you can see him saying something like that to American people, being like, "Hey, for example, our spending is completely out of control, absolutely out of control." We can all understand Trump saying like, "Hey, we got to do trade-offs here. We got to like, raise a little bit more, cut more than we do raise, but we're gonna have to make some sort of deal." With Harris, you feel like she would just lie to you. Like she would say something to you, she would do the opposite of what she intended. But with Trump, it's almost like we don't really believe that. We believe like he's just gonna say what we want, even the most uncomfortable thing, that he's just gonna say it. And because he says that about a bunch of other stuff, even things that you and I would be like, ooh, gritty, right? You're like, ooh, I wouldn't really do that, right? But like if Harris wants to run as whatever race she wants, like it's just sort of like, in my view, I'm like, I don't really care. Like it shouldn't matter. But and what Trump was trying to explain, he was trying to defend himself. He really to think that he is a racist is literally the most insane. Like based on his entire working career, his popularity as an entertainer, like he was, and that's why I think like why black men are not showing up for Harris is because he kind of is like a gangster. Like he builds gold buildings. He got shot like once and then got shot at again, right? It's like, and he has like he has multiple kids for multiple women, right? So like it's like this meme on Twitter, and I think that like there's something real about that, and people are drawn to that authenticity versus Harris. It's like anything you throw into the bucket, she could say it. She's just like a parrot, like throw it back. Like same with Newsom. Newsom has that same weakness. It's just Newsom is more shrewd and crafty about how he delivers it. Yeah. No, but you could throw anything into his bucket and he'll just say it, right?
Right. His rhetoric is sloppy too. Let me ask you this: the distinction between people. There's two kinds of people voting for Trump, in my mind, who've come from the Kamala side. There's people who've been red pilled, and there's NPCs who are getting recalibrated. Meaning, when I hear someone say, "Were you better off 4 years ago?" I feel like they're talking to NPCs, right? And when you're talking to people who've been red pilled, they're people like me who it's like, oh shit, all of a sudden I have values. Like I got a value all of a sudden, or I got morals all of a sudden. Like, it was just, there's a distinction. Do you think, if you accept my premise that there's two different people flipping, do you think the NPCs, assuming Trump wins, do you think they stay with the Republican Party?
Yeah, so that's because I do think NPCs are drawn to JD, because JD he solves so many for you and I. We don't really care about, like, it's more of the substance of the character of the person, and frankly, like being funny goes really far for you and I, right? And JD is not only funny, but he's incredibly brilliant and he's very bright. But he solves some of the problems around like Trump just talks funny, right? And he has mannerisms that they don't find humorous. You and I will see a dancing video of Trump. We think it's hilarious. They think it's like offensive or whatever, right? So so I think JD solves the kind of next evolution of the MAGA party, because I've never seen somebody defend deportation as brilliantly as Trump does, or sorry, as JD does, and he does it in a way that actually is like very unassuming and kind of like unarming, right? It's like he's very good at it. It's like a mastercraft at it, like legend status. And the way he talks about it, which is frankly, and from Americans, I never thought that Americans would be at the point where the majority of Americans want deportation. But that tells you how bad it's gotten. Yeah, like it's true. I think it was said in the Waltz JD debate that the majority of Americans want deportation to be a policy that we have. And there's not much specifics on what it means. It's just like generally Americans are in favor of it. And it shows you how bad it's gotten in places that probably you and I are not very exposed to in America. That the media is constantly pressing down that this is not an issue. This is not an issue. You're a racist, and that still shows up in the polls now, where it's like, hey, we need to like send some people back, right? And the fact that Trudeau gave up on his whatever sort of rainbow pie he was building up above us, like the fact he's now against, and they have a much stricter immigration policy than like we do, and that he's stopping it too. So there's something that's happening across
Trudeau
the country.
Flipped the script on immigration. Trudeau flipped the script on that?
He tweeted it. Yeah, he tweeted it out. He was like, "Yeah, we're stopping immigration for the next 3 years."
Wow!
Like literally said, like hard block, like we're not, we're not accepting people. Like,
I wonder what Klaus Schwab thinks of that. Does Schwab he got approval from Klaus for that? I'm not even.
Yeah, joking. It's like, is he disappear? Is he gonna disappear? Yeah, no, exactly. No, that's what I'm saying. Like the neoliberal order that we can just import people, that values are a function of like structures, right? That is in the structure of like wherever you've been, the social economic framework you came from is the total imprint of your values. That when you come here, that we have a new system, and the system is what makes you good or bad. Like it's very Rousseauian French Enlightenment sort of thinking. It is bizarre. Like it's bizarre because it's never worked out to be true. Like the English Enlightenment's always proven out to be true. Like that's the anthropology of man. That is our ontology of like how we actually work. And so the neoliberalism stuff is an extension of existentialism. And so like that hasn't worked. And so Trudeau has now backed away because he's probably going to lose in this next election. Actually, he will lose. Like not 89% likely he's going to lose power. Because it actually doesn't work that way.
Do they have election fraud, bad election fraud in Canada also?
No, not in Canada. No, it's not as much as their systems are actually like robust, unlike ours. Where like, yeah, you know, I'm Savan, sure, I could pass for an Armenian, sure, like you know, and like or like in Colorado.
I heard France is all paper.
I would like that. Yeah, France is all paper. That's true. Yeah, I would like that. I think voter ID should be. Everyone should have an ID. Like should be photo ID. Photo ID. We should limit early voting. I think early voting should be maximally like a week before the election. I don't think you should have mail-in. I'm generally opposed to that. And then the election day is a holiday.
The fact that the election day is not a holiday, national holiday, is fucking batshit crazy to me.
Yeah, that would be my compromise. Is like
that's fucking nuts.
Yeah, no more early voting, no more remote voting. You can absentee request if you're like in the military or some other very legitimate reason.
The military, I recall, could mail in, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and you have to present an ID to vote, and that's compromised, and then the election day is holiday. Because this whole like we're gonna vote over 45 days is that like data changes right in the course of 45 days. We need to have as much of a succinct and commonality in what we're voting for and what information we have at the same time. Because otherwise you introduce errors and also disgruntledness the longer it is open. Because obviously people are voting for different frameworks and different things and based on different information. So as a country, we have to be on the same page like what's happening. So that's why it has to be all condensed, I think.
Have you heard what Raskin's saying?
Raskin? No. Who's that? Raskin
okay.
What?
So this is some crazy shit, but basically they're saying that even if Trump wins, that they're gonna the Supreme Court will have to decide on whether there was an insurrection or not. They won't decide. They'll kick it down to the Congress. The Congress will say it was an insurrection, and he won't be president of the United States, and that we'll have civil war. I heard him say that. This isn't that specific clip, but here we go.
Ask you about the election. Of the Electoral College. Detail what your prediction is and why you think that this will happen.
Well, my prediction is they're going to try it. November 5th, we've got the vote. January 6th, we have the certification of the vote. There's a group that are calling themselves the State Democracy Defenders. This is Norm Eisen, the legal hatchet man for all of this, the guy who drafted 10 articles of impeachment for Trump his first year in office. He's teamed up with Jamie Raskin. Jamie Raskin has said publicly that it doesn't matter who people vote for in November. It doesn't matter. Trump can win 350 electoral votes. It doesn't matter because Congress, under Raskin's initiative, is going to not certify a Trump Electoral College victory because they will cancel out the Electoral College votes. They'll nullify Donald Trump at the 11th hour, 2 weeks before inauguration on January 6, 2025, by citing Article 3 of the 14th Amendment to argue that Trump is an insurrectionist and so he's therefore disqualified from holding office.
I wanted to ask.
Yeah, so the 14th Amendment says that, have you seen that? Have you looked at that? Kamala could also not be that by raising money to get people out of jail during the George Floyd riots. Yeah. That would fall also under the 14th Amendment, Section 3, what she did.
So okay, so let's see how like phrase it. So I don't have any hard evidence to show that this is like a real something that you and I should be concerned about.
I did see Raskin say it out of his mouth, by the way. I did see him in a clip actually say to a group of people this theory.
Yeah, sure.
That's
I mean, Democrats say, as you know, they say lots of shit that like is nonsense, right? Because they're just trying to like get money or get a rise, and they don't actually
he
like.
actually Raskin
But
actually said we're
fundamentally,
going to go to civil war. Raskin actually said in the clip that I saw, he said, "Yeah, then we'll go to civil war, and all of the senators and Congress people will need super high levels of security."
yeah, like I'm not defending. I don't like him as like a now that I knew what Raskin you're talking about. Like I got it.
He's
I'm
a
not going to
scumbag
defend
in
him
the
as a
highest
person.
order. He's
Yeah.
a scumbag. Yep.
So, but I fundamentally view most people in Congress as cowards. So, like, I'm not. I just think that. Actually, let me get back to the other point. So, one thing that is kind of I can't say like a natural law, but something that is a common law as it relates to Trump is that what they accuse him of doing, they do themselves. So it's
Right.
been a pattern constantly throughout his however long he's been running for in politics. So let's say 12 years. And so obviously January 6th, J6 was mostly not what the media said it was. The way I viewed it was a riot that went out of control that was probably encouraged by certain people that are in the federal government as an embarrassing take. It was not an insurrection. It's such an embarrassing association of those words. It's like calling again like Trump a Nazi or a terrorist or something like that. It's like you don't even understand the word you're using. You're so debasing that that people who are Jews should be offended by that because it's not even an proper association. It's just an insult, it's slander, defamation. And so the insurrection thing is a defamation. Like it's not real. He was not anywhere close to the Capitol, clearly, and he did not. He strongly discouraged any form of violence. That was very clear even before the stuff started happening. And you have all those weird videos of the police just letting people in, and then the bomb guy that we've never been able to identify, like who's this bomber person that. And the people that died were Trump voters, and none of the Trump voters had any guns or weapons. So clearly, there's no intent to insurrect anything. They were just a riot that got out of control, and nobody knew exactly what was going on. It was just chaos. And then the following consequence of like how the federal government treated those people was extremely deplorable. Every single DA that's been doing that, I think, should be not only disbarred, but should be fined by the state governments. So I don't know which DA is controlling all these cases, but every one of those DAs should be fired, and they should be never allowed to run for office or practice law again. And how they treated American citizens. Like regardless of whatever you think, like we do not support 2-year-long internment with no right to trial and no right for representation. That fundamentally violates every single thing about our Constitution. I would say that about anybody, including like Edward Snowden. Like it does, even if he is a person that even though he was correct, right? People underestimate what Snowden said was real. Like he was right. He still was a traitor, but he deserves rights. He doesn't deserve to be droned randomly from a plane like Obama. Like you don't get that. That's not the way we work as a country. So like how the government treated them showed me more that like they are the ones that are going to perpetrate things related to an insurrection. They constantly obsess over J6, which was totally, how can you have an insurrection when nobody has weapons on the other side? It doesn't even make any sense. Like I do not deal. It's like both of our family lineages have been part of countries that have been unstable, where there actually was a civil war. And you know what happened? People die in the civil war. There's actually real fighting. There's people who die in the government. There's a government building gets shot up. Like that's what an insurrection looks like. Not like, oh, I guess we'll just walk through the rotunda because the police let us in, and I guess we'll just kind of walk around. It's not like those Trump voters knew what was going on. It's like any of them were like, hey, this is how the certification process works, right? And like they're just there to protest because they're mad.
That was a riot. It's the weakest riot in our nation's history. No fire, no looting, no
yes.
and
the people that actually commit damage.
Then what? You think the
US
government's gonna fall because they're sitting in those chairs? Like what the fuck? I don't even know how they make the leap, dude. I don't even know how they make the leap. I don't even know.
Yeah, I'm prosecuting them for trespassing and all that stuff, but the people that were committing actual like violence were clearly Antifa or something. Like no Trump voter wears a bike helmet dressed all in black. Like Trump voters that were there were very proudly wearing Trump, right? Mm-hmm. And we're like people that kind of like eat at Olive Garden, stay at a Holiday Inn. Like they're not this like young, completely masked up. The fact that we have this assumption around the event, mostly like implanted by the media, Like, I mean, I got so much crap on Twitter because when they said they're like, oh, these cops died, I'm like, not true. Don't believe it. Right? It's like, this is totally a psyop. These cops did not die. And then again, you look, it's like, yeah, again, going back to the nice guy or not nice guy, sorry, fine people hoax. That's another hoax. Like, none of those cops died related to this. And that video of the fire extinguisher person, right? Like, we never found who that was, but they kept saying, "Oh, this is a cop. Look, the Trump voters are hitting them with the guy." Like that, not true, right? And the whole thing was like, when I first saw it, I was like, "This is a psyop. Like, this is clearly classic CIA, FBI sort of psyop behavior to like manipulate people." And again, I don't know how far it goes into the deep state is a real thing. Like, it totally is a real thing that Americans need to be concerned about. And and Congress needs to be going back to, like, do I think the Democrats will do something on January 6th, which actually it's the same date this year? Yes, I do. I do think that there is something that is going to happen between when he wins on Tuesday. Remember the 5th of November. Something's going to happen on Tuesday, and then between that process and J6, they will do something. And I don't know what it is. I don't know how far it's going to go. So
if Trump wins, the riots in this country will be fucking insane. And if Kamala wins, there won't be riots.
Yeah. I think most that's also driving people to go vote, is that they I think that's kind of an unspoken assumption of many people, and that shows you where we are as a country, that one side knows the other side is a hostile actor, is some form of, they're real insurrectionists. They're the ones that will go torch cities and attack people who vote for someone they disagree with. Versus you and I would never, like, I'm hosting an election party in my house. Like, it's going to be mostly like MAGA people, but like if Harris person comes, like, I'm gonna make fun of them, but that's about it. Like, there's no,
right.
Because you and I, we actually respect human rights and civil liberties. Like, they don't. And in terms of the radical people, like my friends that are coming there, like, of course they do, but they, if you talk to them, they don't, like my friends that are Harris supporters, they would acknowledge that there's something wrong in their party. They would say it's been exaggerated, or it all relates to like anger.
Yeah, I would hear it's isolated. I would hear it's isolated incident. Oh, that's an isolated incident, that man raping a woman in a jail. It's isolated incident. That's what they always say.
Oh yeah, the trans stuff. Yeah. And the fact that Megyn Kelly, give props to her that she's making that their only issue. With same with like Abigail Shrier, like it's again, like with Bill Maher trying to red pill his audience. I have several. I don't know Bill Maher, but I have several friends of friends, and they all say that he's so red pilled. Like, he's so over the Democrat bullshit. He's so over it.
Saying, I don't care. I just want the Democrats to win. He's like, I don't care. I just want them to win. He keeps saying that.
Yeah. I mean, but you say it like in the way he is. If you see like non real time interviews with him, like you and I would really enjoy hanging out with him. Like we would disagree with him, but he'd be funny, and he'd sort of say like, trans stuff is crazy, and like I don't believe Trump is is terrorist, blah blah blah. But some of that is because he knows they're going to lose because they're crazy. Like the TDS thing is a real psychosis. It's really impacting.
Oh yeah. I had that. I'm surrounded by people who had that. I had that too. You say dumb stuff like, "Hey, I don't like his hair," or "I don't like the way he behaves," or "I don't like the way he talks." And then as soon as you say, "What do you think about tariffs?" they're like, "He's stupid." Like, you never say anything of substance. You're just walking bowl of adjectives. Yeah, you don't.
Yeah, NPC, right? You're a non-playable character. You're just someone else is controlling you, right? And it's a deeply sad thing in America, because like I love this country so much, and I love Americans so much that they would think so almost like be so taken advantage of. And there's just something there's something when they were running as Campaign of Joy, which no longer do now. She's mad now in the campaign. She's very angry. But like the real Campaign of Joy was always the Trump campaign, because there is something kind of freeing of like, once you're kind of in the camp and you're kind of like, I don't really care what you think, I'm voting for him. I think he's funny. He's so funny. Just like the squirrel thing, right? The peanut thing, right? The fact he said something about it, it's just so awesome, right? He's like, I'm gonna protect our furs and protect our pets, right? It's just so amazing that like even like in the Al Smith dinner, which he was just at,
By the way,
The way
what
he
a
drinks
libtard thing to
his
do
Diet
to
Coke,
own a
right?
squirrel. In Berkeley, my neighbor across the street had left her window open every single night, and she put dog food on the
Yeah.
kitchen table, and the squirrels and raccoons would come into her house, and all the neighbors fucking tripped because obviously it created a lot of rats too. But what a crazy thing.
Yeah.
That's how flipped the fucking party is. 20 years ago, it would have been some Republican shot his squirrel and ate it. Now it's fucking the libtards, big government went in and fucking euthanized someone's pet that they had for 7 years because another libtard
Yeah.
told on them somewhere. I mean, it's the whole thing is nothing fits in the narrative anymore. I thought it should be the liberals rioting because a squirrel was killed.
Yeah. Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah. That's because their party is disjointed from an actual like philosophy. Like it's an emotionally driven political platform. It doesn't cogently make sense anymore. It's like they're yeah, like I mean, and think about even about like you and I are on the side of like we're pro female sports, and even just that the fact so now you're in a camp with like LGBT people, and then you have the feminists, and you're like, and then you have like we're not going to talk about Muslim problem with that too, and we're just like, but they're all voting, and you're like, what? Right? You're like, what? Like, what's going on here, right? And because it's a party of special interest. It's a party of that people just want their little pie. They don't want to ever get along. It's not. It's a movement of people getting their own take, right? And on the MAGA side, it actually is a very simple. I grant it. It's simple. A simple, clear agenda, which is like close the border, make America wealthy, make it safe. And like that's it. It's like there's not much beyond that. I'm not saying you could build an entire policy platform on that. Like, as in you got to do more than obviously clearly. But like from an American perspective, we're like, yeah, that sounds good. Like, yeah, okay, let's do those things. Let's like close the border. Let's like make the city safe, and let's like be rich. Like that's like a good plan, right? It is. And instead, like, what?
Are lesbian women? So, are lesbian women flipping faster than gay men? Are lesbian women?
No, I would say gay men.
You do think gay men?
I would say gay men. Yeah, like most of the in the LGBTQ community, most of the I guess assuming pronouns, the guys and gals that I know that are going Trump are gay men, because generally they have a sense of humor, and they kind of think like they're kind of accepted that there's actually one side because as you said in the hierarchy, right? They've been deprioritized.
Yeah.
So I think that's one reason why
women think more clearly because they're not as perverted as just men as a whole, whether they're straight or gay. I just think of and I do think that this country will be saved by black men and gay men and women. Like they're the ones who are going to have to speak up. They're going to because they're going to have to speak up. They're going to have to save the white man. I think the ball's in their fucking court. They're going to have to be like, wait a minute, we do need individual rights. We do fucking need equality. This fucking fascist shit taking away the rights of individuals and giving them to groups. I'm done with it. But I always, my theory was this, and I'm open to it being wrong, but that the lesbian women are switching faster because they don't want men in their sports. They don't want trannies anywhere near them. And and they don't want to keep the men in general want more rights to act on their perversions, whereas women are like, what are you talking about? We don't got it. We're not doing any weird shit. We're not diddling kids.
Yeah, it's a as Megan Kelly talked about like on Bill Maher. It's like it's just a weird. It's like we woke up and we're like, what? Wait, this what? Right? And it's just this kind of shock that's happening, and the shock continues to accelerate. And again, it's where there's a great book called Toxic Empathy, which you should read.
Who wrote it?
And it's about Abby.
Oh yeah, she wrote one on the soft kids thing too, right? I think Russell Berger recommended this to me.
Oh yeah. So yeah, Russell will definitely know. Yeah, Allie Beth Stuckey. So what is great about that book is, and it's written from a Christian context, is it describes how people have used the good nature of tolerance and empathy against us, and that would be of you and I would be of that representative of like there are times when we'd be in this position that we've defended people who are marginalized through toxic empathy lens, realizing that then they use that against us. And that's part of the red pilling process. is that like, oh, well, I'm just going to do this thing and it's fine. Like, it's just this one time, this person's marginalized, and then they end up like basically hitting you in the face, right?
Affirmative action went from let's let in a few black kids to let's hate white people.
Yeah, exactly. That's what she talks about in the book. Is like,
oh, sorry, and Asians. Sorry, I keep leaving out Asians. They hate you too. Sorry.
Yeah, we're white now. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So 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 the book talks about like how to basically build a defense mechanism against this. But that's exactly with the there's a whole book devoted to trans, or sorry, the whole section devoted to trans. And she writes about like, one, the political philosophy of where it came from, but two, the argumentation. And it from a logical perspective, it's just like, I don't even really know what's going on, because like we don't even understand in principle what's being said to us. But that's also part of the toxic empathy play, is that there's never an in principle object of discussion when it comes to some of these issues now. It's just like a euphemism. It's like, like things like, trans women are women. It's a euphemism. It doesn't mean anything. It's a tautology. It's a self-reinforcing statement. But when you talk about politics and policy, there's something in principle in discussion, like of a subject matter. And that's why they accuse you when you start talking about it, because you're like, what are we actually saying now? And that's where politics has drifted so quickly. Whether talking about race issues or immigration or LGBTQ issues, it's like there's never even a what are we actually talking about conversation. It's just like accusation, slander, defamation, attack, right? And in toxic empathy, it's funny that her solution to a lot of these things is that, like, kind of like Trump, which is just like, I don't really care, and I'm sorry you're offended by that, but I don't really care and this is what I believe, and that's fine, right? And it's the best way to kind of defeat it is because they don't have a response. Because again, it's not what I think Americans have to realize about these particular like pathologies in our culture is, one, they're an extension of mostly cultural Marxism, and if you read like how Marxian ideology works and how it like intercepts into our culture, this is one of the classic ways it does, which is it finds a lane of attack that creates division that is not clearly framed on a policy objective outside of division itself. And there's no end goal, right? There's no outcome that's like policy should have an outcome, something that's measurable, and there is no measure to it. It's just destruction. Like that's how Marxism has traditionally exploited fractures in Western civilization, is to find these holes, to exploit it, just to destroy community, households, like the things that you and I value, right? Freedom is a function of common socially shared values and constructs that we just agree to behave with without the need of government interference. That's what freedom fundamentally is. And so they intercept into that and create then now a new legal structure that then oppresses any form of the previous non-legal, non-government social structures. And so therefore we're less free, more roles. And so like in many ways, you and I, if there wasn't, what's the right word for it? They were so aggressive on many of these, like whatever alternative or new ways people want to live. If they just want to go do it, you and I'd be like, great, go do your thing. Like,
yeah, go do your thing.
Care. Like that's
yeah.
It's when it was like, oh, but when you start attacking other people's children, when you start saying like in California that you're losing the sovereignty of a parent over a child because of you want a political outcome of that child that's not yours.
And right? That has happened in California and Illinois. Yeah. You know that's happened here. California and Illinois. Yeah, it's done.
Yes,
12 years old, you don't got access to your kids' medical records anymore.
Yeah, and that should be like atrocious. It's literally from the fundamental idea of like the nature of the family, right? And that's again the if you look at prevalence data around just particularly around like trans, I think this is objective data that exists within CMS and CDC. Like there is no biological or even like scientific explanation for the increase in prevalence of like particularly the trans issue. It is purely only explainable through social phenomena, and even Bill Maher has said that, right? And so like that, then you have to ask yourself, it's like, what is the goal? And the goal is some form of social decay, social revolution, like that is the orientation. And so like I think Americans need to be wiser to the fact of like toxic empathy is a real strategy being deployed. They're taking advantage of our good nature, of our willingness to be accommodating, our willingness to be tolerant and loving and supportive. Like there are many people in my family that into the what does Chappelle call them, the alphabet people, like many of my, and like I do, you in the micro you are compassionate and you're loving, and you do everything possible because they're your family and they're your friends. But when it comes to the society, you can't operate society that way. Like you end up fundamentally creating an immoral and angry and oppressive society if you operate the family unit in the macro. There's a book by, I think it's Abigail Schreier. I think it's let me look it up. I think she wrote it. Let me find it. It's a book about therapy.
You were also saying something that basically Greg has shared with me that Victor David Hansen said, that everyone wants a society of maximum tolerance, but unfortunately within that we get a cohort that is maximally intolerant. And we're trying to figure out right now as we go through this cultural war in this country, that's who we're dealing with. There's this cohort that's just maximally intolerant. It's their way or
the book's called, it's Abigail Schreier. The book's called Bad Therapy. And yeah, so what's great about the book is it clarifies the difference of like why empathy should exist within the family unit and not exist in the political unit. And she has a whole couple chapters devoted to that. And it's because you can't actually regulate empathy. Like it's a non-matter thing, right? It's something that only exists between individuals. It can't exist between a government and a person, a system and a person. It can only exist between two people, and you could say, or like maybe one other person too. But it's fundamentally human. It's a human connection that's needed, and the government is not a human connection. It's the opposite of a human connection. And so people are putting in things into that category, making a category mistake that fundamentally should reside only in the family unit, and they're confusing those things. They're making I guess technically that would be like a systematic error. And so the things you feel towards your children or your family, your friends should stay there. That's where they're good. But when it comes to society, like you can't regulate female sports through empathy. Like it's impossible. It leads nowhere but down, and where it becomes oppressive, controlling, and fundamentally not anything that anyone wanted anymore. Yeah, I love that. That therapy is great. It's a really amazing book.
Whole pile of books. Hey, how are you on time, Aaron?
I got a few more minutes.
Okay. Let me. I see. Oh wow, incredible! I'm gonna play a quick little promo to get people into CrossFit affiliates here, and we'll be back in 1 minute.
I started CrossFit a year ago because I almost had a heart attack. And while I was laying in that bed, something just clicked in my head, and like whatever I'm doing was not working anymore. I came in weighing 300 pounds. Now I weigh 220. I'm down 80 pounds. I remember it was such a nerve wreck for me, you know, thinking I'm not going to be able to keep up with these guys. Even with the women, I was scared I wasn't going to be able to keep up with them. And what really kept me going was the community we have here. To me, it meant a lot. It helps me keep going and get to that goal that I'm trying to reach. I'm so glad I have everyone and like encouraging me every now and then, even with a simple keep going. Back in May, I did my first CrossFit competition ever. I didn't think I was ever capable of doing something like that. And I did it, I completed it. I want to keep doing this probably for the rest of my life. CrossFit is creating a better future for me.
November 10th or 11th or 12th, we'll have Chris Cooper on, the owner of Two Brain Business. Will be giving away $10,000 in the video contest. I think it's 10,000, 5, 3, and 2, or something like that. Anyway, we have over 200 submissions. Thanks, guys. Aaron, okay, you ready? Now we'll start the show. You ready?
Yeah.
I have two friends, two acquaintances who tell me that Trump wasn't actually shot. That it was a play, right? That this whole thing is WWE. Do you even go there? Does someone like you? Do you even entertain that? Like they're saying, like when he was underneath, he cut his ear, or there was some David Copperfield shit that went on, or And I heard it. I have one friend who says that, and then this weekend I met with someone who was really smart, and they were telling my wife that. I was like, oh shit. That it's all it's all a game. Basically, there's the whole thing is it's just not bad actors, but basically the whole thing control. That Trump is controlled opposition. That's the term they like to use.
Yeah, when you meet people like that, when you meet people like, there's no evidence of justification of what they're saying. It's just like an opinion they have. So one is that the nature of the ear grows back, like the healing pattern is very normal. It's not abnormal at all. But the second is like people actually died there. So like, what are you even saying, right? It's just like, so they just shot other people and he just like cut his like. And okay,
well, yeah.
So
let me defend that, but they don't care about people dying. Yeah. Like if you're doing an act at that level, they don't care if people are dying. We already know that, right? Like what happened to Epstein? Did the CIA really kill JFK? Like we know that they're willing to kill bystanders, right? We got to give them that, don't we?
No, I know, but so why would though the deep state want that? Why would they want Trump to win? Like. So like there's no and then you add in like with all these conspiracies, like you either have
money. At the end of the day, it's why we all operate, right? We're trying to control something. Like I'm trying to keep the bushes off my roof, and I'm trying to get enough money to feed my family. I mean, at the end of the day, that's how the whole machine's working, right?
So you either believe that the government is fundamentally such an authoritarian, brilliant mastermind, or incompetent, and is mostly just makes some random mistakes. So, like, I'm more on the side of that, which is why I don't want the government in my life. And so, assuming they can just pull this off and then just like hush everyone up, and then one thing I would grant, like 100% grant, but again, Hanlon's razor, like never underestimate the power of Hanlon's razor. Never assume malice or intentionality that can be more easily explained with stupidity. Like that's a fundamental rule that will check everything people believe. It's a real like philosophical concept, just like Occam's razor, Hanlon's razor. So the randomness of him getting up there is a problem. Like that I have. Like how do people knew he was there, but then
you're talking about
him out, but no one did anything.
Right?
Yeah. And so like that's a concern I have about like, was this allowed in some form? But when it comes to being hit, them dying, real bullets, that's all real. Like that's beyond the pale, I think, in terms of like reasonableness. You just don't like. One is like in terms of the like because again, like you have to have evidence to make these claims. You can't just like spread out claims. I guess you can with your friends, but assuming the precise target of that, right, is a crazy assumption. Like, so you either say there was no bullet or there was a bullet and they're just really good at shooting, right? So I think the claim of the risk that if you're trying to help someone win, that you would use an actual bullet to hit Trump was like, of course, I think stupid. Like that. Oh, they just nicked him and they intentionally just nicked him only here, right? Because other people died and he randomly turned his head and it was very, very close, right? So then you get to think of like, oh, he cut his ear. The problem is like plenty of other eyewitnesses, people who were there, not your friends, said they completely otherwise, right? And the areas I would say that would be weird would be things related to Crook. The fact that his apartment was completely sanitized, that he had like apparently in the photos, not apparently, it's in the photos actually, he had bullets, like not casings, like shells, like a full set of bullets on the roof. That's weird. Because anyone knows anything about guns, like, why would you be like, one, you don't ever see him doing that on the roof? Like, is it okay? I'm just gonna like load a magazine. Right? It's like you have plenty of bullets in the gun, right? Your magazine's at least like 15 rounds, right? It's probably a 30. I don't know how big the round is. It's probably 15 to 30. So why is there just bullets just sitting everywhere on the roof? Like that's weird. It should be casings, right? Because you shot the bullets, not I'm gonna like sit up here and just load a magazine up. All right. So, and his apartment was weird. Like why is there no fingerprints? There's no clear motive. There's no clear like that stuff is odd.
The burning of
I'll focus my energy there.
Odd. The burning of the body is really bizarre to me.
That
really
stuff is the stuff you should focus on. Not like, did this thing ever happen? That's such a weird place to put your energy when the really weird things are like related to the assassin, and we also have other, people who have tried to do it again to him that are completely unrelated, right? And so that tells me that this is more of an actual thing. Is like other people tried to kill him too. So I would just focus more on the crook stuff rather than did it even happen, because it clearly did, and I just don't. It's a like the sniper's thought like this the guy who shot Crook, like someone was clear shooting. It was all in the orientation from that direction. The people in the building underneath Crook knew someone was shooting above them. People around them. There's so many eyewitnesses. Like it's just I think like a lost tribe just to try to like think that like that didn't happen. I think there's much more interesting things around, like who is the shooter? Why did he do it? Was he paid or something? Like it's just really weird why it happened. Like why him? Because you just don't wake up a day and like I'm gonna go shoot the possible next president of the United States. Like it's just not something you do. Like versus Oswald, right? Who I think I'm of the position that it's a likely. I changed my view on this. I originally thought I was a lone shooter with a CIA connection. Now I changed my mind. So based on the JFK stuff that came out, the most recent stuff, that it clearly something happened that was multiple people involved to kill the president. But even that Oswald, right, had clear background, like clear motive background, right? He was a communist, which people just conveniently forget about. A communist killed our president. He had military training. He was seen doing the military training. He was seen as a radical. He has done other like he had a history of doing stuff. Like, but this Crook guy he just happened to do this one day, right? Because he just hated Trump that much, right? But then the Democrats are saying, "Oh, he's a Republican too." And you're like, "What are you saying?" I even wasn't sure. Like, what are you making the argument? Like Trump is one of the most popular Republican presidents in the Republican Party of all time, and so another Republican shouldn't go shoot him. Like it's just like what are you talking about, right? But like so that stuff's like super weird, and like that is where we should invest our energy. Is in like, was someone behind this? Was someone pushing this? Was he just truly deranged, and we just didn't have which is again it's a possibility. But again, like the Vegas shooter, we have another example of another shooter doing something completely out of character. The FBI has no explanation for it. So and we just forgot about that. We just conveniently forgot that this madman killed like almost 100 people, right? Injured.
Wow, look at this comment. This is
Yeah.
Alex Jones from Temu. Is that the Asian is Temu like the Asian eBay or Amazon?
Yeah. It's like the
wow, that's a great put down. That's awesome. Wow. I like this guy. He's intelligent and articulate. Yeah, but this is funny, David. Wow, David, that's your Aaron Ginn, Alex Jones from Temu. Wow, take that as a compliment.
Well, I guess I guess maybe. So the Temu thing I don't mind. Alex Jones thing, I don't mind the Alex Jones thing.
Oh,
yeah,
you're not.
I mean,
You're not Alex Jones. Listen, I have a hostile white supremacist crowd. What can I say? Hey, listen. A couple more things I want to bring up to you. I mean, I could talk to you forever.
Sure.
Trump in the Rogan interview dropped Tim Cook's name and Sundar's name. He mentioned that both of them had spoken to both of them in the previous 24 hours. Is he signaling? Is that like, do you remember that in an interview? He's like, so I was talking to Tim Cook, and Joe's like, when? He's like, 2 hours ago. And then he's like, oh, Sundar called me and told me my McDonald's video is killing it on YouTube. I'm like, what the fuck? Meanwhile,
what do you mean, like, as in?
The Nelk Boys a year ago interviewed Trump. The video was up for an hour. We got to watch it, and then they fucking pulled it down. The next day after Rogan interviewed fucking Trump, Rogan's friends talked to him because at one point Trump said, yeah, the polio injection, I don't want to say too much because I already have one strike for saying this, but the polio injection was a miracle. And Trump's buddies were like, hey, did you explain to him that it actually wasn't and that the graph shows it plummeted? And he's like, no, I didn't want to mention that to Trump right then and there. It's like, if I say that on my channel, I get a strike. What's going on? Is he cozying up to Sundar, the CEO of Google, and to Tim Cook now? Are they cozying up to him?
Well,
why is he dropping their names? Is that like, hey,
Yeah.
Aaron, I was hanging out with Brad Pitt yesterday, and we went to this great cafe, and I start talking about the coffee, but really I just wanted you to know I was hanging out with Brad Pitt.
Well, one is that's the way Trump talks, right? Like
Right.
I mean, who knows the nature of the conversation? None of us know, but that's what he talks. Is like he lies about things that are like, who gives a shit? Like Kim and I were
Exactly.
best friends now. I went to
Yes.
North Korea and
Yes.
loved it. He loved
Yeah.
us. Like, and so that's the way I read that. Is like, who knows? Maybe it was an email. Maybe they had like a 5-minute conversation. But like, it's more of them hedging, which is what I would want them to do. They need to behave more like a company that's orienting themselves to their interests. So, and I want them to understand and like talk to the possible next president of the United States, because how they treated him before was deplorable, like ironically deplorable and awful, and it alienated at least half of their user base. So I'm actually happy of that. Like, I mean, I don't want Sundar to have like the ability to like call Trump anytime as he wants, because you are a citizen of our country. You represent $1 billion company, but you don't have, like, it's $1 trillion company. You don't have some special like access. Like, I don't agree with that. But you know, in a campaign, like, who cares? Like, it's just he's trying to win, and I don't. I'd rather it be that than the opposite. And Sundar, like, to be fair, he's been much more like normal about these issues. I think Tim Cook is not an ally on these issues. I think Microsoft is very much probably one of the most balanced tech companies that we have right now. But
hey, dude, they have a real problem though. They have a huge DEI problem. They're going to start going the way of Boeing. They have a huge DEI problem. The story.
Boeing got rid of the program, right? So
what did you say?
Boeing got rid of their program. They tweeted something about it
like last week. Yeah. I mean, they were overtly saying we're getting rid of our old white gray-haired men. Those are the people who actually were the engineers that fucking loved airplanes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you 3 stories I've heard in the last year. Buddy graduated top of his class in the fire academy in Silicon Valley. Had no one close to him. Was told by all the fire captains in the area, "Sorry, can't get a job. We're only hiring minority women, not even just women." Another buddy of mine works at Microsoft. They told me he's going to get a promotion. He goes in to get the promotion. They're like, "Oh, sorry. Our rules say that we have to promote a woman before you." Another one of my buddies works at one of the largest universities in the nation in the finance department, and they have if they contract with any outside shit, there's a hierarchy of people that they have to get bids from, and white men are at the bottom. It's just overt. Like that's the fucking country we're living in, and I think I think Microsoft's at the top of the pile of that. Why do you think that they're such a good, well-balanced company?
One is that they have a large footprint exposure to like just American companies and the American government. Second, if you look at like donation split in Microsoft, it's still outweighs into Democrats with better than the other tech companies. And they're more of like the Bytes type of, as in BYTE, big tech companies generally heavily biased more liberal. The ones that actually do like nuts and bolts, like something with their hands, are generally more blue collar. They bias towards the right. So like Amazon and Microsoft have more of like physical infrastructure plays. They tend to bias much more to the center right. Same with Silicon. If you look at like semis and like people who make chips and stuff, they bias pretty heavily towards conservatives because they actually are in the manufacturing business. So they have to deal with the consequences of the things that the Bytes people, the software people, are pushing, because they live in an abstract world where they don't have to actually pay for any of this physical infrastructure. So they just kind of like live in the internet world. And so they basically never deal with the consequences of it. But like on the broader DEI stuff, I don't, what was the right word for it? Like, I do think that stuff is fading. I do think that it is absolutely horrendous. Like, every person should be hired based on merit. And the Supreme Court has said it's horrendous and it's illegal. So I do think it's just sort of a last gasp.
You and I both know a lot of people who were in 2000. There was a stat that came out the other day. In 2022, the Fortune 500 companies hired 300,000 people, and only 6% of them were white. And you and I both know people who sit in meetings all day, And it's just like you are not allowed to say fucking anything, but they're allowed to say everything. But if you speak up, you're fucking toast.
The Thomas Sowell has a phrase for that. It's Thomas Sowell has like a whole book devoted to that, where he's particularly writing about it for emissions related based on race. That you're basically putting, of course, he's writing about blacks, but he's putting blacks in a situation at Harvard that they otherwise would thrive in at another university because of the tragedy of low expectations. That's
right.
And so then you basically put them in a position where they can't win, and because they're actually not prepared for it.
Right.
So like I know in California, like it's kind of an island of insanity. But like in I think the rest of America, that's still like not a widely accepted phenomenon. I think it's one of those things of like it jumped the shark and it peaked and it's already falling backwards because of like all of the big companies got ahead of it because they wanted to basically like cover up for other misfortunes in their company, or they just want to make more money. And so I do think it's going to go back the other direction, particularly under Trump, because Trump will just make it much more accessible because he actually has a very intellectually diverse and racially diverse like organization behind him.
Of course.
So like, yeah.
Thought and look. This is our US senator. She's from fucking New Jersey. Fucking Newsom appointed her to replace Dianne Feinstein when she died. She was a blatant DEI hire. He said he was gonna get a black woman lesbian as a senator, and then he did. And she's from fucking New Jersey, and she comes from like I think she was head of like New Jersey Planned Parenthood, and now she's our fucking California state U.S. senator. Dude, it's crazy. This chick.
When did she have to run again?
She's born in 1979. American labor union official, politician, serving as junior United States senator from California since 2023.
That's sad.
It's sad. Yeah, this is California is a mess, dude.
Well, yeah. I mean, she has to run for office eventually. She can't just like sit as when does Feinstein? When is her election?
Oh, she'll get.
It must be a midterm.
They'll vote for her again. Let me see. I want to see where she used to work. It's crazy. She's a lesbian. She's black. Where did she used to work? Oh yeah, she wasn't a registered. She wasn't even registered to vote in California until she became a senator.
Wow. And you're like how many other let's say like he still wanted to have a DEI hire, like how many of them would actually be qualified, right? That would still have some of those frameworks, right? So and that's the thing that they always say with these lists and the checklists of whatever that are immoral, is that there probably is somebody that meets that standard in terms of from an objective perspective, but the whole point is just pick an ally. They want someone they can control. They want someone they can use, right? So they use the immoral checklist, DEI checklist, whatever, to then just find someone they can control. It's just a manner of controlling people and getting an ally in, and they're using that checklist to do it. Versus like there could be someone actually objective who meets things, but they're not really controllable. They're not really somebody that's on my team. They're not someone I can pay off. So it works inverse, right? It works inverse. It's like the goal is someone they can control, someone they can influence, someone's going to back them, someone like they're going to, do exactly what they want. And then not the other of like, oh, I actually want someone who meets this checklist. And that's why the checklist people, they're really seeking a political outcome, and they're just being dishonest and duplicitous about it.
You think Trump's going to win?
Yes. Probably like somewhere between 280 and 290 electoral votes. That's like where I think right now.
You think we're going to know tomorrow night?
No.
Unless
it's because there's like three options. I'd say it's close. Kamala wins. Trump slightly wins. Trump has a blowout. If Trump's a blowout, then we'll know. But I still think it's like he wins, but it's like less than 300 electoral votes. So that's kind of like where I am right now.
Does
So
she?
go ahead.
I don't think he's gonna. I don't think he'll concede no matter what.
Yeah, it's an interesting. I don't think it was. I don't think he didn't need to concede, but I think like I'm unsure about Nevada. I'm unsure about Wisconsin. I think Michigan goes to Kamala. So I think he wins Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona. So it becomes like what happens to Wisconsin, what happens to Nevada, and we'll see. Well, I mean, we'll know pretty early with New Hampshire. That I think New Hampshire still goes to Harris, but if it's very close, then that's a bellwether for the rest of the country. And then Pennsylvania, I think we'll know. I think we'll know Pennsylvania actually fairly soon because the Dem wall is so small. We're looking at 700,000 less early votes than last time. North Carolina, I think, will be a little bit while. Florida's not even in contention. I think Georgia will know soon. So I think the states we won't really know would be like Nevada, Pennsylvania, the Great Lakes states. I think Arizona will. I think that's a pretty solid state now for him.
Have you ever? Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no! So with Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, he's at 279. So,
Pat, oil rigs, framing homes, gardeners. Do you know that the only female gardener I've ever fucking seen in my life was in Berkeley, and she was like a specialty gardener. She had little flyers up everywhere, and she would do like these exquisite like flower layouts in your yard. And she said, I only take like 3 customers. Pat, the reason why you live in a world of blue collar male dominated jobs that no fucking women want. Your perspective on DEI is so not in the fucking world. You live in a completely fucking male dominated for the reasons that women don't want those jobs. Women want firefighter jobs. They don't want fucking framing jobs. They're not asking for jobs to work on oil rigs. Pat, you've never even seen a female gardener, Pat. So stop your perspective. At least admit your perspective is so fucking one-sided. And so like you live in the world's greatest echo chamber. And Pat, I say this with peace and love. If your wife wasn't a Democrat, you would 100% fucking be a Republican, and you would be absolutely disgusted. But she sits on your hard cock every night and fucks you silly, and those big old titties dangle in your face. And I ain't hating. You want to keep the peace. I get it. Peace and love to you, buddy. Pussy's a wonderful and powerful power. Yeah, exactly. I have a female who takes care of my flowers. Thank you. I love you. Thank you. That's my point exactly. I've never ever seen a fucking female, white, Mexican, Asian, or other fucking riding in one of those trucks with the lawnmower in the back. Not one. I'm 52 years old. So there.
I'm guessing that's someone that you know who trolls you.
He's a dear friend.
Okay.
These are all my friends. Titties over Republicans. Yeah. I mean, what are you going to do? The hierarchy of needs. Bo Keating, great show, guys. Thanks. Aaron, who wins the popular vote? Last Republican to do so was almost 40 years ago, right? Is that true?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was Reagan.
Oh, Standy saw a Mexican female. You saw a Mexican female, or you saw a Mexican female gardener?
I think he gets very close. I don't think he wins it outright. If he does, it's the 300 electoral vote sort of situation. I think it's like within 0.5%. So very, very close. So yeah, I mean, we'll see if I'm right. So I'm hoping it's a blowout. I'm really hoping it's a blowout because then the J6 V2 is much, much less likely to happen. If it's like he wins just the states I'm just missing, but loses Nevada and the Wisconsin, Michigan. I don't think he wins Michigan, but let's say like Nevada, Wisconsin. Because if he gets Nevada, Wisconsin, it's over 300. So, but if it's like close and he still wins, then I could see a J6 V2 happening more and more likely. But I do think that there will be segments of the Democrat Party that are we'll do bad things, and it's going to be hard for our country to tolerate. But we have accepted Marxism in our country for the last 30, 40 years, so we have to pay the debt, and you can't avoid it. And I hope that as a country we can accept that Trump and JD Vance will do the things that we need to do as a country to eliminate Marxism, and that we can move forward and be a free, prosperous country. But until we pay the debt, it's still going to be there, and we have to say we're not going to tolerate any form of cultural Marxism. So,
how is Aaron so smart and a tech guy, but his connection is so bad? I still have no idea what he looks like.
Oh, I mean, has that been bad? Yeah. I think
Your
I'm on
audio
satellite,
is great.
so.
Your audio is good. Oh, are you on satellite? Are you on Starlink?
Yeah. Is it not working, right?
Dear Elon, Starlink.
I can see you fine.
Oh yeah, Starlink.
I can see you just fine. Oh
yeah.
So
Starlink. Hey, let me ask you this as a tech guy. Will there be a time when Starlink is great? Like, will they be able to increase the speeds of it with the technology that's technology that's already in place? They will. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be because you reduce the needs because you're going up and down versus across. You can go faster. So it's pretty awesome.
Hey, and I guess eventually what I'm hearing is that Starlink is going to become the new way of phones too. That basically he's building the infrastructure for an incredible phone company right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think Starlink and SpaceX are going to be the companies he's as a legacy. Tesla will be interesting, but not as legacy. Legacy will be SpaceX and Starlink for sure. Same with X. I love X. It's I spend the most time on there. But it's compared to what Elon will do for the future of humanity, it's he is a very admirable. He should be in the Hall of Fame, and I hope he actually works in the administration. I think that would be awesome. Him and Rand and Ron would just be epic.
Yeah.
So
I saw that too, Ron Paul. I was like, holy shit.
Yes, I was so excited. I was I love the Paul family.
Yeah, dust him off. All right, buddy. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. Talk to you soon. Thank you.
Yep. See ya. Bye.
See ya. Aaron Ginn, ladies and gentlemen. Throw him in the pile of just big giant brains. Holy shit, that guy knows a lot. Will Elon pay me to use his new phone like he does for votes? Oh, Patty. Okay, I need to make my list. I need to make my list of people that I'm going to try to get on tomorrow. Dalton Rasta, Pat Lang, Josh Bridges, Rich Froning, Andrew Hiller, no, not Laura Horvat. I mean, if she wanted to, if any of the games athletes want to come on, you're totally welcome to come on I'm going to have people on for 10, 15, 20, 30 minute rotations. Oh, I'm going to get Will Brandstetter on. Will Brandstetter. Oh, should I try to get James Sprague? I could try to get James Sprague. Okay, I could try to get James Sprague. Do we want any foreigners on? Oh, Angelo. Angelo. Travis Mayer. I would love to have Travis Mayer come on, but he's not going to be real. You know what I mean? He's going to he likes to keep that part of his life, I think, private. He won't keep it real. I don't think that's the setting for him. Let me see Angelo's most recent post. Angelo. I'm going to be so busy today. Angelo DeChico. What's his most recent? Is it in his story or where's Angelo? What do I do with? I can't find Angelo's Instagram. Hold on one second. Let me see what's going on here. Oh, that's so weird. It won't. I'll just do this. Oh, there it is. Okay. What is this? His most.
I've heard all the stories you back.
Here you go. Vote tomorrow if you have not. Vote in a way that will make your grandparents proud. Unless you vote blue. If you don't vote for Trump, then write us in. Attaboy. All right. God, it's already cold there. Wow. Look at that freezer. Meat. Guy wrote unfollow. All right. What else? I want to go to see if there's let's see, Donald Trump sound effects. I'm gonna download Donald Trump soundboard. Donald Trump soundboard. I don't know if you, let's see. I'm gonna download a bunch of these, I think. Let's see.
Do you know how bad it is for me to say that? Barack Obama.
We will make America great again.
Oh, that one's good. That one's good. Okay. Okay.
We need to build a wall, and it has to be built quickly.
Okay. Okay.
50%. Fifth Avenue.
God. Oh, hi.
Things on.
What are you doing in here?
Just hanging out.
I'm preparing for my show tomorrow. Sevi, change it up. I can come on and talk about cabinets and kitchen design.
Who said that? Anyone I know?
Jody Lynn.
I don't know who that is.
Get my mom on. I don't know about that. I did what I watched. You know what's crazy? I watched the debates with Charlie Kirk and Ben Shapiro and those guys surrounded by the college Democrats, and then I watched the Democrats surrounded by the Republicans, and it's crazy how different the Republicans behave than the Democrats. It's like the Democrats are fucking psycho, fighting to get to this seat, being rude, and the Republicans are so just chill.
But I don't want to sit here and tell you every single thing I want to do.
They don't know what they're doing.
We don't beat Japan with their millions and millions of cars coming into this country. I want you to be a judge at my next Miss Universe pageant. Do you know how bad it is for me to say that?
Congratulations.
Oh, look, they have more presidents. Oh shit, what happened? Presidents and look, you can pick different dudes. Oh shit.
Pick Biden.
Joey.
Yeah, pick Joey.
I'm trying. Oh, here we go. Joe Biden soundboard.
All men and women created by you know the thing.
I don't think my camera's on.
No, your camera's not on.
Yeah, no, turn it on.
No. Okay, cool.
No, you're not.
My mother believed and my father believed that if I wanted to be president of the United States, I could be vice president. My mother and father believed.
Jesus Christ.
Thank you, Dr. Pepper, and thank you, Chancellor, or Dr. Pepper, and thank you, Chancellor.
Wow.
It doesn't make sense.
What are you going to do to make...
Even you know it doesn't make sense.
What are you going to do to make sure...
Thank you, President.
What are you going to do to make sure my kid stays away from drugs, is not put in the position?
Would you shut up, man?
Oh shit! I wanted to ask Aaron Ginn if he thought when Biden's gonna pardon his son.
Since I've never been called a man of few words, let me say it as simply as I can. Yes, I accept your nomination to run and serve with Barack Obama, the next president of the United States of America.
You ain't black.
You could inject some bleach in your arm, and that would take care of it. This is the same
was
man.
said sarcastically,
That was
and you
him.
know that.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Next president of the United States, Barack America. Judge my physical and mental my physical as well as my mental fitness. My mother,
He
my
made a
son,
fortune,
my son,
and he didn't have a job.
my son, like I got to the Senate 180 years ago. I love kids jumping on my lap.
I think I probably have a much higher IQ than you do, I suspect.
Wow. All right. I got to get some of these ready for tomorrow.
Ooh. Who you gonna have on?
God, I don't know. A bunch of people.
Including me?
No, you'll be in bed.
Wait, it's gonna be tomorrow night?
Yeah, I'm going to do like a 6-hour show tomorrow.
Can I start at like 4? What time is it gonna start at?
Like you'll come on a little early.
Yeah, I'll come on a little early, and then when it's time for me to go to bed, I'll hit my head and go to bed. Hit my head on the pillow. It's very hard. And then
You're
boom,
too young
sleep.
for politics, buddy.
Oh, so you don't want me to come on? I'll stay in bed the whole time and watch Simpsons.
Watch The Simpsons.
Even though it's not movie night tomorrow.
Okay, here we go.
What?
Campaign. Now I'm going to deliver immigrants to her supporters.
We're voting for you. Don't worry.
Are you? We do have a surprise, if that's okay, just real fast. We're looking for a place for them to stay. They just came across. They'll sleep on floors. I mean, they're not picky, you know.
We have like a 2-year-old, so
Hector's good with kids.
sorry, we just can't.
Could they just like sleep on your lawn?
They need a place to stay. They just came across.
My teenagers live with me.
Oh, that's fine. Hector, he was dating a teenager like a little bit ago, so
Okay.
they just came across. They don't have papers. You're in support of like the whole border situation, and we're just trying to get them a floor to sleep on. You guys want COVID? They said they could survive it.
We work with her, so we know how to say her name.
Earlier you said Kamala. The way she pronounces her name is Kamala. You don't work with her either.
See that car? We have 3 dudes who just came across the border. We're trying to find them a home.
Just say I'm voting for Donald Trump without saying it, okay?
That's a wrong attitude, mister. I said my vote is private.
So you're voting Kamala?
No. You said it again.
Kind of understand that, not really.
Wow. Why don't they just be like, fuck you, dude? I'm voting for Kamala and I ain't letting those dudes in my home. Let some random dudes in my home. I'm not stupid. I'm just voting for Kamala.
It's comfy.
What do you want?
What do you mean?
Like, what do you want? Why are you in here?
I want to talk to you.
Okay. Don't you have a strike?
Oh,
Don't you have a strike?
That's. She's gonna be late.
She is?
Yeah, she's gotta be late. I just know it. She's always late. By the way, Mom would call. I'll just call. It's fine. She calls right now and he's so mad.
I'm watching the recent episode on election stuff. Angelo is ragging on Wadapalooza. Damn. Wow.
Hold on, is my camera on?
Yeah, your camera's on. Why are you gonna pick your nose?
No.
What is going on here?
Sorry.
Did that women's boxer who won the Olympics, did it come out that that's a dude? Olympic female boxer. News. What's the guy? What's the boxer's name? Redux. Redux. Box Mag. Maybe I have to put Transboxer. Did it just come out? Did the Algerian? Wow, jeez, Louise. How come that won't work for me? How come I can't? Oh, there it goes. 8 hours ago, shocking new development has emerged in the case of Algerian boxer Imaine Khalif after French journalists reportedly gained access to. Damn, why won't this come up? Wow, this won't let me open the link. Open link in new tab. French Algerian medical boxer. Wow, it's so crazy how Google won't let me find the fucking article I want. Won't let me pull it up.
How do I look?
Oh, you look good. Did we already talk about Brent Fikowski retiring? We did. I got in trouble by my wife for that bit I did on him. I got in a little trouble last night. I was supposed to be in Jubilee episode, but they changed the date to while I was in Europe. I'm applying for another one next time I'm in California. Jubilee? I don't know what that means. It wore a man suit on the cover of the magazine. Confirmed. It's so weird that it won't let me open this. I wonder. Is Redux on Twitter? It's so weird that I can't pull this up.
I want to talk to you. I don't want to hear you talk. I want to talk to you.
Okay, go ahead.
I want you to ask me some questions. You have nothing?
No, yeah, I got nothing. I'm doing a show, dude. I'm doing a show.
Oh.
Oh, hold on. Oh, the media has been disabled. Oh shit. Wow. What the fuck is going on here? Oh, it's all in fucking Spanish. Is there a translation button? Here we go. No, there's no. Translate post. Here we go. Unable to fetch translation. My God, even on X.
Yeah? Tired?
No. I'm hungry. I'm not tired. I'm hungry. I'm a little hungry.
A little hungry.
Talk to me, Ari. Talk to
What?
me. Talk to me, Ari.
What?
Tell me your deepest thoughts,
Why are you turning it so low?
So we can talk. I'm fading it slowly so it sounds so.
Oh. Wait. Do you hear me talk like an echo?
No. Hey, I
Oh,
heard
not
you.
anymore.
I heard you say the other day that you don't want to do your jiu-jitsu tournament in 3 weeks because you're tired. How could you be tired? How could you know if you're going to be tired in 3 weeks?
No, I'm tired of doing the tournaments. It's just like boom, 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 boom.
Don't you think it's good to get experience just beating random dudes' asses?
It's actually a little fun though.
It is. It's a little fun.
It's fun with a girl. It's just girl. It's easier.
Yeah, girls are easier to beat in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, cause like the boys, like I almost lost to Ronin.
Yeah.
And cause it didn't almost. But some boys are tough. Some boys are easy, but not all of them. Ronin's not. Ronin's like the hardest match for me.
Do you go your hardest against girls? Do you still try to?
No.
Don't you think you should? Because one could surprise you.
Oh no, with I wait first. I'm like bait. I'm like a bait. I'm like a mosquito. I'm like no, not a mosquito. I'm kind of like a thing that like waits until the other thing goes like aggressive, and then I start attacking.
So with girls, you have a different strategy than boys.
Boys, I just go hard. Girls, wait. The easy, I go a little easy. If hard, I'll put the smackdown on them. Yeah.
Put the smackdown on them.
So it depends how they want to be treated. Or sometimes just go with the flow.
Sevi, did you watch the Jasmine? Oh, I did watch that fight. She coaches my 2 sons. No shit. That's the she had a little bit of white trash in her. I liked her, right? She was big, the big white girl, and she looked really stiff in the beginning, right? She looked really stiff in the beginning. She's the one who took she was the grappler, right? She took her to the ground, and I think she tried to crucifix her, right? Is that the fight?
The crucifix.
The crucifix is when you get someone, you basically have side control, and you have a knee on one of their arms, and then their other arm trapped between your legs, and you just pound their face. But in jiu-jitsu, in the crucifix, I think you would do like an Americana or a omoplata. Is that it?
You mean what is it called? Kimura.
Oh, Kimura. What did I say?
Americana.
Americana?
Yeah,
Oh.
Americana. No, you said omoplata.
Is Americana and Kimura same thing?
A little different. Kimura's where you just go like this. It's a little different. It's Kimura, you just go like this.
Yeah.
It's the other way around for
Americana.
Yeah, you slide their elbow up or something, but you keep it on the floor. So it's kind of like this. You go here,
Mm-hmm.
keep it on the floor, keep it on the floor, keep it on the floor. All the time you keep it on the floor, and you just like slide. So it's like elbows going this way, elbows staying on the floor. It's basically the arm just going like that.
Yeah.
The whole half of your arm just going backwards. It's hard to do, but if you get it, and if you don't tap your arm, like your elbow, it's your elbow to your fingers are gonna be broken. Like your elbow's gonna be broken.
Let me ask you this: how long do you think you can go without touching the microphone?
What do you mean?
Like, do you think you can go the rest of the show without touching it? Nope.
Oh, you mean like that? Yeah, sure.
You could. Okay.
Starting now.
Okay, go. All right, 9:15 a.m.
9:15. It's actually 10:15 because the clocks are an hour behind now.
No.
Yeah, they are.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. When I say yes, it's yes. Okay.
Do you want to hear some old guys rapping? I played it earlier today,
Yeah.
but it was pretty cool.
I didn't hear it. Can I see? Can't hear.
Or do you want to?
Yeah, I want to hear the old guys rapping.
You want to? Okay, let's hear the old guys rapping. Here we go. These are two. This is Jeffrey Birchfield and Ken Walters rapping.
How old are they?
Oh, you touched it.
Oh, shh.
Son of a. Start over again. 9:16.
Okay, go.
With a fag and a can and me top off. Hammers, still knock the block off. Feds coming to the manor when it pop off. The blocks on lock off. I still make the drop off. And they can try to take a couple of bands. I won't make a mosh pit, but I'll be rocking the mats. Then I'm built like a bottle of Stan. If they try to pop caps, I'll be knocking them out.
Hit it, Ken.
Puff up your chest, get smoked like a cigar. Pull strings like a bloke on the guitar. One call, get wrecked, dish dasher. Left in a dune in the sands in Kitta. Bando. Bricks in between walls, break bricks like bits on a D-wall. Bands bits to the boys in the Midlands, box there passing the rock like a speedball. I'm outside.
God, these guys are so good. It's crazy.
My God, it's amazing. Just play the other thing that you were in.
Hey, listen, guys, look, 2 million followers.
Just from old people singing. That's amazing.
What do you think the difference is? God, I would love to have Hiller on for this bit. What do you think the difference is between these guys' followers and like I don't know, like Danny Spiegel's followers? What do you like? 1.9, not 2. Shut your face, dude. Shut the. Be nice, Sevi.
The magazine made me lean when I walk in the drumstick will make a net bang like a pump.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta pop out and act different. Sometimes you gotta pop a couple actresses. They fucked around and they gave a nigga trophies. Man, I'm about to fuck around and rap different.
Flow too cold, it's a far go. Shooting for the stars, take a look, I'm a far glow. Baby, I'm so BMO. Black man out of here, Lambo truck, baby, let's get the fuck out of here. And he goes, no intro, they know the name. Now I've got that juice and I'm killing them, OJ. I'm sky high, feeling taller than a mountain. So tell your new girl that I love her 3,000. Okay, I'm done.
How have these guys worked with any big rappers?
Who put that tune on it? Who had them tunes going? Before your iPhone had iTunes on it. Slow mo vision, I've been puffing the peace pods, selling free fires to the fiends by the seaside. I'm a tear lines in the seams of my levers with a stick figure than Nicki Minaj sweetheart. Birds whistle when I walk like this. Best listen when I talk like this. I'm outside on the curb with me tats out. If he's hard, he can try and choke like this. Slow mo vision, I've been.
Hey, I bet you these guys could let any word slide. These guys could say the N-word, no problem. No problem. No one's saying shit to them.
The magazine made me lean when I walk in the drumstick will make a net bang like a pump.
There's no bigger the flow killer for show hitter. A go-getter, the nose flicker for gold diggers. Pull up at the red light, cut off your headlight. You can never shine like me, dog, my Glorilla. Who put that tune on it? Who had them tunes going? Before your iPhone had iTunes on it. The hobgoblin got marbles, robbers, and goons on it. The gobstopper, she's slobbering for a few moments.
Jeez.
What?
I just can't believe how good these guys are.
Play another video.
I want to see them with some real, I shouldn't say it like that. I want to see them with some other rappers, some more stereotypical rappers. What's this?
Diamonds dance while I stepped inside of the building. Changes singing on my neck, gold rings on my fingers, swimming on my wrist. Tucked into my waist, still see me with a clip. Big glass of the Bombay, take a little sip like fitness sticks, still blast in the past. Gold rings click when I pass in the club. Just stepped into the building, show a little face and I'm.
Man, I want to join these guys. I want to be a dancer for these guys.
You can't dance. You're too old. Oh,
I know, but that's what would be so cool about
Hi, can you adjust the mic?
Just
closer to me. So feeling quite cold.
Oh my God, these guys are straight doing it.
Banging on the dick cause I'm a gangster bitch. I'm gang banging on the strip on some gangster shit. Hammer in the track and I can bang this clip. And if you want the 10 plus I let the rap to rip.
Wow.
I don't know what they told you. I shoot guns and I bonk your girl. Birds up when I duck the police. My pint and my fag, I'm on top of the world. I don't know what they told you. I shoot guns and I bonk your girl. Birds up when I duck the police. My pint and my fag, I'm on top of the world. I don't know what they told.
Where's that? Is that Vegas? Wow. God, what took so long?
Right, sir. I'm fine. Please, mate. What flat are you from? I think you already know that. What's this all about? Basically, we're here at the location, okay? Someone's been tried to be in possession of a firearm, silver. No firearms here, mate. Taken apart and put together, about a foot long. Whoever's calling the gathers on us, stop it now, or I might do something I regret.
Is that real? Someone did call the cops on him? Oh, no.
I'm an angry man, but I'm a soft old sod. I got a couple mates and they lost the plot. Don't need a girlfriend or a stable job. I'll be sitting.
Man, they're going to be doing the Super Bowl halftime show soon. Yeah. Next stop, Diddy's.
Why does someone call the cops on them?
I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if it was just a skit or I'm assuming it was just a skit. Man, these guys are the next big thing, or are they already a big thing? Look at Devin Lorette follows them. I think Devin Lorette has an arm wrestling match this weekend. Ari, who are you voting for?
Should I say it out loud?
I don't know if you want. You don't have to. You can keep it private. It's up to you.
Hold on. This guy right here, but a little older, okay? And his name's Trump.
Oh, so Chris Cooper's coming on soon. So is Bear Hanlon. Do
you think I gotta leave now?
Yeah, I'm gonna get off now.
Oh, okay then.
I'm gonna go watch your striking class.
Done?
Yeah. What time is McKenna coming?
I think she's already here. I think Joey's going with her.
It will be tight, but the printer has okay. We're going rebroadcast. Can you send me the 12th? Can you send me the file? Yes.
Are we done?
Yeah. I'll probably now that you're getting off the air, I'll probably show some inappropriate stuff.
Bye.
Bye.
I gotta leave.
Okay, I love you. Thanks for coming and saying hi. You're good. You're our best reoccurring guest.
What about Hiller or Matsuza?
Nope, you're better than them.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Don't take offense, Matsuza and Hiller.
All right. Love you. Bye. All right. Ari Matosian. Jiu-Jitsu extraordinaire.
New study that claims that happy couples are less likely to post their partner on social media. The results found that those who share 3 or more couple selfies per week are allegedly 128% unhappier.
Facts. I've been saying this for years. It took me a minute to figure it out because I would see people post stuff and I was like, what? That's weird. Like, I know them. He sucks. Are you posting, giving him props for unloading the dishwasher? Love of your life. I don't know what I would do without him. He's just so perfect. I'm like, I know you guys. Your marriage is in shambles. So I'm not saying you can't post nice things or cute pictures about your spouse. That's fine. I am saying that if you do it too often, we might need to wellness check them because she might be crying herself to sleep.
New study that claims.
Brady Libby, you know that when a couple shares a fall photo shoot, things are looking very bleak for their relationship. What if your wife just got a brand new set of huge hammers? You want to show off the world your new toys. Wasting time taking the perfect pic and posting on social media to get validation is a facade. Even worse are the matching outfits. Fall photo shoots have spring breakup divorce written all over them. Wow. I mean, who is that chick? She looks familiar. She looks like she's had like 15 surgeries on her face. Well, I don't know what the fuck's going on with her face. How do you get your skin to look like that?
Happy couples.
Sorry. Yeah, what is going on with that face?
Are less likely to post their partner on social media.
Speaking of which, I'm watching Dexter and fuck that the man, what a horrible portrayal of fucking relationships and women. I don't know what the fuck is happening to Rita's face. I'm almost done with season 4, 1 episode left. God, I almost didn't make it through season 4. I almost didn't make it because one of the premise of in a couple of the episodes, he's got a little boy kidnapped in a basement, and I just cannot stand those scenes. I sit up in my chair and I just put my hands on my face. It's just too close to home. It's weird. I'm an empath, I guess. An empath. I have so much empathy. I have so much toxic empathy. I'll watch a show about a little boy being kidnapped. It's just like, fuck. No, thank you. I don't know if there's any merit to that of couples who I don't know. Speaking of couples that post a lot, I wonder how Catherine's hammers are doing. If she's still on the hammerathon. Nope, she's gone back to working out. I wonder if it's changed her bar trajectory. Someone needs to ask her how it's affected her training. This is programmed on HWPO training. We ended up only doing 3 sets while we are still building volume back, but feels so good to be moving and well with some intensity. Oh, I guess when she says we, she means her and her husband. The recipient of the new hammers. All right. Vacation's over. You guys want to talk about Peanut? Oh my God. Do you guys want me to bring up the Star Report? You would not believe the Star Report. If you have not read the Star Report, I'm going to do a whole show on it. It's a detailed account. So Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky had 10 sexual encounters. 9 of them involved oral sex. 2 of them resulted in ejaculation. And it goes into detail of like where he stood, and it's crazy. And I did a quick Command F and typed in the word anal, and yeah, there's ass eating in it. She ate his ass once. And it even goes into the I voted. Zach Jones says, "Did you vote?" It even goes into the he said, well, only 2 for 10 for coming. Yeah, he said he told her, I mean, this is according to her, he told her that the first 7 times she blew him, that he didn't feel close enough to her to ejaculate. Like, I don't know if it was too vulnerable for him, he didn't want her to see his O face, or he was afraid she was going to do something with the ejaculate. I don't know what. But the last 2 times he ejaculated, and I think that probably she was swallowing. And I only say this because she didn't know she had semen on the dress until she pulled it out to wear it again. And so I don't even think she knew. I don't think she knew. And so then I'm just coming to the conclusion that she thought she had swallowed it all. I didn't know people were eating ass in the 90s. Well, that's so funny you say that too, because I was reading some other shit on it, and I guess I think my wife told my wife this last night. She told me I'm a fucking maniac and I'm fucking an idiot. But basically, I told her, I said, "Hey, I don't think sucking dick was a thing until Monica started blowing Bill." My wife told me I was fucking crazy. But I was reading some articles, and I guess that was used to be considered like something like really out there. And he normalized it, because when that story came out, it got normalized. But I didn't even know. I never even I'm such an NPC. I didn't even wonder how the semen got on her dress. I just assumed that they were having sex and he wiped his dick on her dress, or when he pulled it out, some fell on it or something. It sounds like they never even had sex. I also read a section there that their genitalia only touched once. So, it's crazy. It's crazy. And she has pronouns in her name, and she's voting Kamala. She endorsed Kamala. I guess someone else was telling me that her parents, when she got sent to Washington, that her parents told her, "Hey, you need to find a nice senator or someone to marry." That basically she went there with the goal to meet someone and marry him. I don't think she's not married now or doesn't have kids. But it sounds like she's took the same path as Kamala Harris. Like that, like she was hoping to climb the ranks. Fuck, Monica could have been our president. He also told her, oh, dude, you're fucking, dude, you're drunk. Blowjobs were being implemented in the 70s. A friend told me. All right. All right. Fine. All right. Hi. Oh, your turn? I'm getting off in 2 minutes. I'm sorry. We'll do a show together. You can come on tomorrow for the election show. Okay. I love you. Bye. Okay, back to blowjobs. She told him. She also thought that they were going to divorce. He basically said, "Hey, I don't know what's going to happen if I don't get reelected. There's a chance I won't stay with Hillary." And so she was hoping that they would, get married and shit. So, oh, clocks. I vaguely recall "Should You Blow Your Boyfriend" stories popping up in the early 90s. Yeah, maybe blowjobs were being doled out, but I guess it didn't. There's like, there's this kind of like demarcation line, I guess, of like what you could talk about and not talk about. You know what I mean? Like, I hooked up with this girl, but you wouldn't, like, I still don't think you say I put it in her ass. Maybe you do. Fuck, I don't know. I don't even know what planet I live on anymore. But Janelle Winston, blowjobs have existed since penises. I'm not saying that no one ever like. Let me take another shot at this. Let me take a shot at this. Let me take another shot at this. Hold on.
Blowjobs have existed since the dawn of time. Since the penis was invented, blowjobs have existed.
But I don't think that they were. It wasn't in the. Okay. Let me take another shot. Sorry. Let me take another shot. Take three. So you guys know the baseball analogy, right? There's first base is you kissed her, right? First base is you kissed her, and second base is like you took her bra off, right? And then there was third base. I don't know what that is. Like, I don't know. You dry humped her, and then there was fourth place, and fourth place, fourth base. There was a home run, and that was you had sex. Yeah, and now Sean's saying now blowjobs are like second base. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure. I don't know what the fuck that is. Okay. First base is kissing. Second base is hand stuff. Third is oral. Fourth is sex. Oh, third is oral. Excuse me. Stop saying fourth base. Okay, sorry. Whatever. Home run. Thank you. Home run. Home run is if your helmet crests the plane of the labia majora. It goes into like if your penis had eyes, it's like putting your penis into the dark room. Once your penis enters the dark room, it can't see anymore. Then that's a home run. I mean, we do. I think as a cohort, I like this thing where we like meet on common ground and show that we're all very similar. I think we can all agree. Let me know if anyone disagrees. But I think first base is kissing and home run is vaginal intercourse, right? Sevon, do you have Peyronie's disease like Bill Clinton? Peyronie's? What is? I don't know what that is. I'm gonna look that up. I don't think I have anything like Bill Clinton. Peyronie's is a chronic condition that caused by a significant bend in the penis during erection, often along with the pain and difficulty with sexual function. No shit. Did he have that? Peyronie's, Clinton? No shit. He had a fucking Clinton's crooked in more than one way. Paula Jones has said over and over that she could prove Clinton exposed himself to her because his penis had an identifying mark. Oh, it's called the Clinton kink. Or you can get Peyronie's disease treatment in Clinton, North Carolina. No shit. Oh, this is fucking crazy. I'm going to do a whole show on this. This is crazy. The American public has the shortest memory in the world. Few remember the days before the terrorist attack of 9/11. Do you remember what Peyronie's disease is? It was barely mentioned in the press, yet a Supreme Court case rested on supported disease evidence. Do you remember Paula Jones and her apology request to President Clinton for his lewd and disgusting solicitation in an upstairs hotel room? Clinton became the world's target for pant zipper diplomacy jokes. Clinton denials led to the Supreme Court. Clinton was bolstered by the question of how could a young female volunteer distinguish his sexual orgasms and prove his nudity advances. Paula Jones had her day in court. On the stand, Paula described Clinton's erectile dysfunction, which caused a midday bend, creating an odd angle known as Peyronie's disease. Wow, I'm gonna. What if I just Google? I'm gonna Google. I need to see that. First of all, Paula Jones Peyronie's testimony. I should probably read that first. Paula Jones Peyronie's testimony. Excerpts. I want to read the exact testimony. I can't find it. Of course I can't find it. Let me see. Peyronie's. It's a disease. Peyronie's disease images. Holy shit. Wow. I think I could show you this. Listen, these are the possible risk factors for Peyronie's disease. I don't even know what this means. Trauma to penis, autoimmune, erectile dysfunction, low testosterone, diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, smoking, alcohol abuse. Holy shit, you guys. There are some fucking crooked ones. It looks like they can fix it. God, I so would not want anyone doing that to my penis. Penile surgery. Oh, Peyronie's disease versus normal curvature. If you banana dick's totally normal. That's why you should jerk off with your right and your left hand. Oh, some man I had a buddy who had Peyronie's disease. I know what that is. He had it in his hand. Dude, show us the wieners. Okay, hold on. I'll show them to you. I'm going to pull up the video because the video is crazy. The video. Let's see. Peyronie's disease. Delete your cookies. I lowered the volume a little.
Directions. For descriptions as to what causes Peyronie's disease and why does Peyronie's disease directions of curvature, this is normally a strong but stretchable layer. We're going to observe the penis as if we're looking at it from above. When you do a cutaway view, and if we zoom into the tunicle layer, you can see what happens when someone gets a plaque on the left side of the penis.
Wow. Wow.
As is shown here, you can see the penis begin to deflect to the left.
Deflect? Deflect.
Similarly, when a scar occurs on the right side, the penis will bend to the right. If we now change views to a side view of the penis,
when do you know if
you can see that when the scar involves the bottom of the tunica, it results in a downward curvature.
Oh my God. Should I ask my buddy about that? Hey, do you have Peyronie's on your penis? That's crazy.
Now notice with this animation that the scar does not involve the urethra directly.
Wow. Wow. I don't even know how that worked. You couldn't. How would you fucking possibly get an erection if your penis was stuck like that and you got an erection? Painful, beyond painful. How would you even put that in? Oh my god. Oh my god, that's great.
This is such a zygote. Several different factors impact the extent of curvature which occurs.
I would go to the doctor if I had that. I would get that fucking fixed. Wow, what is this? Development of Restore X penile traction device? What the fuck is this thing?
Hi, I'm Dr. Landon Trost, clinic, and in cooperation with... Well, first off, I'm a strong believer in traction therapy.
Traction therapy.
There are fractures and many more. The nice thing about traction
scoliosis of the penis
is it's relatively cheap. Only therapies that can legit those undergoing surgery to place a penile prosthesis, following prostatectomy to help the internet, achieving the desired outcome, hearing an embarrassing cork popping and many more complaints.
Wait.
Penis would slip off, needing to wear it for 9+ hours a day. We're not traction devices.
Let me see this fucking thing.
It's just...
Are we going to see it?
You know that ideal treatment...
Oh, this is Peyronie's disease.
...be adjusted so that you can apply bend to the base, middle, or end of the penis.
Wow, look at this thing.
Left or right.
This thing, you put it on your penis. It's like a retainer. You know when you're a kid and you wear a retainer? And like it moves your teeth around slowly? This thing... Oh my god, look at this fucking thing. Clamp design. This one just slowly straightens it out over time. Look at this clamp holds the head of your penis, and then this thing slowly bends it back up. That is fucking wild. That is fucking wild. You think you can buy one of those online? Like on Amazon? My search is Peyronie's clamp. Oh yeah, fuck, they do sell them. Oh, it's for that. This one's for urinary incontinence. It's a clamp for your cock if you just pee. Wow. Jesus Christ almighty. I'm done with this. Ryan Tangoe. Someone tells his kids he will be done in 2 minutes, spends 30 minutes looking at cock. That's the same what I tell my wife. I'll be done in 2 minutes. I don't like to be done. I'll leave that one alone. All right. What's going on here? Election forecast. All right. Oh, listen to this. Oh, Pat, I hope you're still here, Pat Lang. You're gonna love this. Where the fuck's my phone? I don't even have my phone. A buddy sent me this yesterday. This is fucking crazy. This email went out last night to people from the Biden-Harris administration. You ready for this? Speaking of buying votes. Congratulations. The Biden-Harris administration has forgiven all or a portion of your federal student loans with the MOHELA, MOHELA, it's some acronym, as you successfully met the requirements of the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, PSLF, or Temporary Expanded Public Service Loan Forgiveness. Speaking of buying, that's buying votes, dude. That's buying votes. Yeah, exactly. Look at Sean. Thank you. I'll vote for Kamala if they forgive my loans. I don't care. Yeah, I fuck. Thank you for your honesty, scumbag. Yeah. Crazy, right? Crazy. She should just What's her name? What's the girl's name? Monica Lewinsky. She should just write a book detailing her sexual exploits with Bill. It could be a graphic novel. Renee K. PSLF has always been around for teachers and government workers. We forgive your loans. It should say walk over to your neighbor's house and say thank you. How crazy is it that the fucking libs killed a squirrel? Fucking nuts. They're not squirrel killers. I need to send that to my mom. Oh, she did write a book. Does it have all the juicy details? I just want it to be like a graphic novel, but just showing him just with his Peroni's just crooked cock in her mouth. You couldn't blow. How would you blow a Peroni's dick? How would you do that? I don't. It doesn't even make sense to me how you would blow a Peroni's dick. Is someone gonna call? Has anyone ever put a Peroni's in their mouth? I want to know what that was like. Hi. Have you ever had a Peroni's in your mouth?
Savon, this is former U.S. President Bill Clinton.
Oh, Mr. President. Mr. President, hi.
I just wanted to call in and just discuss the matter and say that I don't really appreciate you talking about my personal mishaps live on the air. I'm a big fan of your show, Savon. And I reckon back when I ran for president that I had your vote. And the fact that you're live on the air talking about my personal mishaps, it just really breaks my heart, Savon.
Mr. President, I do want to apologize for the mischaracterization of you calling it a mishap. I think I misrepresented it. I was very proud of you. I thought that you used the Oval Office in a way that it should be used for people to express themselves. And I do believe that you were in love with that woman. And I do believe you were in a precarious situation with the former First Lady not servicing your needs. I think you still will get into heaven, Mr. President.
Well, Savon, now that you bring it up, I just want to clear the matter to your 20, maybe 30 listeners that are live on the air right now. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. But if I were to have sexual relations with that woman, Savon, I'm going to teach you a little bit about Peroni's disease. See, I had a situation with my penis where it just crooked straight down. And I know that on the show you were very curious about how one's man penis would enter a woman's vagina with that situation.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever heard of the position, the sexual pile driver?
No, I have not, but I used to watch a lot of WWF back in the day. And so I can kind of imagine it. I'm going to look it up right now. Sexual pile driver. That's the position.
See, Savon, at the Oval Office, we have this really comfortable couch. Really nice on the lower back, real good for the lumbar. So what I would do, hypothetically, if I were having sexual relations with Monica Lewinsky, I'd flip her upside down with her upper to mid back on the floor, maybe press a couple pillows to make it a little bit more comfortable for the woman, because I'm a nice president like that. And I'd have her legs and her coochie way up in the air. And then from there, I would then insert my crooked penis inside of Monica Lewinsky. It's a lot easier and safe on the Peroni's penis that way.
Mr. President, on behalf of the American people, I don't find it very kind that your friends are laughing at you when you're in such a vulnerable moment. I do want to apologize. The rest of the American people find this very educational and helpful, and you're taking away stigma from those men who have a 90-degree angle in their penis. So thank you.
I appreciate your emotional support.
Sir, I do have one question. Does it affect the ejaculate? Does it just dribble out, or does it come out with the same force, or do you have any? I mean, is yours pointed down or up?
Mine was pointed more like to the downwards towards the
Okay,
left.
so you never had any like fire. You never, like when you were jerking off, fired one on your face or anything. That's kind of nice.
No, it actually was very helpful, Savon, especially as a little boy growing up when I'd masturbate in the bathroom. I didn't even really have to point my penis anywhere. It just went straight into the toilet.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. President. I hope you will maybe call tomorrow night on election night. And one final question while I have you: is it difficult supporting the First Lady or the Madam Vice President Kamala Harris because she is a retard?
Kamala Harris is a woman for the people. She is going to be the greatest thing for this country, Savon. And I hope all your listeners, I know they tend to lean more towards the left, but I think it's very important that we all fight fascism and all turn out to go vote for Kamala Harris because she's a woman for the people.
Thank you, Mr. President. I hope you'll call in tomorrow. We'll be doing an extended election night. It's always an honor when you call into the show.
I look forward to it, Savon. I look forward to it. Thank you very much for clearing up the matter.
Thank you. Wow. Holy shit. That was very dignified. That was very dignified. Now that picture I pulled up on Wiki, I almost didn't pull it up because there you can see cock and balls and tits in it. But then I think it's just animation. It's not even real. So I think it's fine, right? The pile driver is a sexual position named after the downward motion of the actual pile driver. The position is executed by the receiving partner lying supine, bent, whatever. Looks like there's a few different pile drivers. I can't believe there's a wiki on the pile driver. I wonder if I could type in best positions for what's it called? Peronis? Perineus? No. Best sex position. Perineus? No. Peron. I don't even know how to spell Peronis. Peonies? Wow, 11 suitable sexual positions for different it's a Y. Peronis. All right. God, there's so much fucking sex advice on the internet. This is crazy. All right. Yeah, you nailed it. That was great. Fantastic. That was solid. All right. The dense updates are killing it. Absolutely killing it. You guys love them. That makes me happy. Jenny puts a lot of work into those. I appreciate it. I'm glad she didn't replay my entire Fikowski eulogy because that would have got me in a fucking shitload of trouble. Man. I was so proud of it, but my wife said I went over the top at the end. So. Brianna, I get all my sex advice from the internet. Don't ever push on that thing between the balls and the anus. I don't know what it's called. No man's land. Don't ever put your hands down there past the balls. That's all you need to know as a woman. Like, don't ever go past the balls. That's it. That's all. That's the taint area. Yeah. Don't ever never let the hands slip past the ball where the balls connect. Just don't ever let them slip past the balls. Play it safe. Don't even touch the balls. Just leave the balls alone. Yeah, the secret button. Don't ever. No. Yeah. Don't. Yeah, and don't take a second of advice from Sevon. Taint scratches are okay by me. Jesus criminy. Okay, back to my list. James Briggs, Hiller, Dalton Rasta, Pat Lang, Josh Bridges, Rich Froney, Will Brandstetter, Angelo. Probably only get half of those. And then hopefully Susan and Caleb will be with me. I don't even know how we're going to do it. I guess on my big TV, I'll keep Fox on, and on this one, I'll keep CNN on, and we'll just kind of track it and shoot the shit. Someone said taint. Pat came out of the woodwork. Oh, James Hobart. I don't think he has the balls to come on. I could put him on the list. James Hobart. That would be interesting. I'll text James right now. James. Hey, want to come on tomorrow night for a few minutes for my election watch party? Oh. I took the craziest dump this morning. It was nuts. I could have built a log cabin with it. I ate so much food yesterday. It was ridiculous. I probably drank a half gallon of milk yesterday.
Throughout the year, but the athletes make like 10 grand, and it's like 5 events, 6 events, and they're like, well, I'll bring you in. Media guys too. I think me and Scott talked about this. How cool would it be to do 2 or 3 Mayhem athlete only events throughout the year, but the athletes make like 10 grand, and it's like 5 events, 6 events, and they're like, everybody stays in the athlete facility, and you come out and do the event. Like, we'll tell you the event, but like they can't watch everybody else's scores if we have too many to like do heats or whatever. Winner takes 10 grand.
That'd be cool. Huh?
So any sponsor wants to jump on that.
On that note, I got a proposal.
Angelo, I'll bring you in. Media guys too. I think me and Scott talked about this. How cool would it be to do 2 or 3?
I was watching Clydesdale Media yesterday, and they said that they wanted to do stuff coming up too, events. This could be a fucking wild year. I'm guessing they would stream it just like we streamed Crash. They would do it fancier, though. Mayhem would do it all fancy. Oh, the Rogue Invitational events are up? No shit. Okay, fuck it. Let's do it. I'll send out the email now. Are Rogue events up? Can we do a show tonight? John? JR? Bill? Tyler? Okay, I got to pee. I'm doing the pee dance. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Lots to do today. Get ready for tomorrow's show.